Respected Mahasangha, dear brothers and sisters, and all the friends all over the world in Dhamma, welcome to this concluding session of Global Prayer Week. On behalf of the International Buddhist Confederation, IBC, I welcome you all to the online World Prayer Meet, which is the concluding event of the Global Prayer Week. As you all may recall, on May 7th, 2020, IBC had organized the virtual Vesak Buddha Purnima celebration, which was dedicated as Global Prayer Week to pray for the victims of COVID-19 contagion and their families, for the medical and health professionals, first responders, service providers, and all the frontline workers who are risking their lives and sacrificing their own comforts to keep us safe, cure, and keep our daily lives as normal as possible. In his keynote address, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, appreciated this gesture and initiative of IBC and Buddhists all over the world for their prayers and for following the teachings of Buddha by helping others in this time of crisis. Let us listen to the Honorable Prime Minister again.
साथियों, लॉकडाउन की इस विकट परिस्थितियों में भी वर्चुअल बैसाख बुद्धि पूर्णिमा दिवस समारोह, इसके इस आयोजन के लिए अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बौद्ध संघ प्रशंसा के पात्र है। आपने इस समारोह को कोरोना वैश्विक महामारी से मुकाबला कर रहे पूरी दुनिया के हेल्थ वर्कर्स और दूसरे सेवा कर्मियों के लिए प्रार्थना सप्ताह के रूप में मनाने का संकल्प लिया है। करुणा से भरी आपकी इस पहल के लिए मैं आपकी सराहना करता हूं। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि ऐसे ही संगठित प्रयासों से हम मानवता को इस मुश्किल चुनौती से बाहर निकाल पाएंगे।
On behalf of Dhamma brothers and sisters from all over the world, IBC would like to express deep gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister for entrusting us with the responsibility of taking the Global Prayer Week initiative forward. Like the virtual Vesak Buddha Purnima celebration, which was viewed by 500,000 Dhamma followers worldwide, Global Prayer Week initiative too received overwhelming support. It has been followed by 1.5 million people across the world who followed the call of the Sangha to pray for the victims and those under treatment and all those who are serving and caring for them and working to keep the humanity safe. On behalf of IBC, we express our deep gratitude to all. We are fortunate to once again have the blessed opportunity today to listen to most eminent masters of Dhamma from several countries such as Bhutan, Brazil, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Malaysia, Mexico, Taiwan, Japan, UK, Tibet, India. We also have visuals of prayers from the most holy site of Mahabodhi temple in Bodh Gaya and several viharas monasteries, and temples in several countries. I now invite Secretary General of IBC, Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya, who will join us from his Dhammadipa Vihara in Tripura, the northeast part of India, to lead us with opening prayers for today's World Prayer Meet. Thank you.
Namo Bhagavato Sambuddhassa. Namo Bhagavato Sammasa. Namo Tassa Arahama Sam Saranam Dam Saranam Dami Sanganam Dami Buddhyampi Saranam Duriyampি Saranam Duriyampি Saranam Tatiyampi Saranam Tatiyampi Saranam Tatiyampi Saranam Bhagavan Sambuddha Charanam Lokavid Anuttaro Dhammati Adivanam Bhagavate Bhagavatam Sa Okalika Hipassika Hika Tam Uditanyohi Sma Bhagavato Sangho Jupati Pannato Sauna Nya Bhagavata Sangho Amechipati Pavato Sa Chattari Yugani Tha Purisala Bhagavato Sangho Paune Dakshineya Karaniya Anuttarang Lokati Buddhang Dhammasadikha Bhayam Vacha Lomanayasya Bhavatungalam Tu Sabha Sanubhave Sada Sukhi Tu Sabhamam Rakhantu Devata Manubhav Sada Suntu Te Tu Sabhamam Rakhan Devata Sanghanubhav Sada Savantu. Good evening, everyone. This especially victims of 19, those working to fight against this COVID, valiant medical nurses, all we dedicate energy, this COVID-19 and those victims, us restoring peace in the world. Be happy.
Now I would like to request Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji to kindly lead us in the prayers for early recovery and good health of Most Venerable Kuttugode Dhammavasa, Chief Patriarch of Supreme Patriarch of Sri Amarapura Mahanikaya of Sri Lanka, and Most Venerable Gyanapurunika Sangha Mahanayaka Thera of Nepal, and Most Venerable Bhadanta Gyaneshwar Mathavir, President Kushinagara Bhikkhu Sangha, India. The most venerables are currently in hospitals in Sri Lanka, India and Nepal, and we pray to the Triple Gem for their quick recovery and regaining of good health. Venerable Dhammapiya ji.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. With deep respect and gratitude, on behalf of International Buddhist Confederation, IBC, I would like to pray for the early recovery of Most Venerable Kuttugode Dhammavasa Mahanayake Mahathera, the Supreme Patriarch of Amarapura Nikaya of Sri Lanka, who had been kind enough and had extended all possible supports whenever we have requested. He also had given his valuable message on the virtual Vesak Day celebration in spite of his ill health. We are very much grateful and thankful to Most Venerable Kuttugode Dhammavasa Mahanayaka Mahathera ji. I also would like to pray for early recovery of Most Venerable Gyaneshwara Mahathera, the President Kushinagar Bhikkhu Sangha. He had been also kind and had served Dhamma to his best capability. We are very much grateful to him as well. I would also like to pray for early recovery of Most Venerable Gyanapurunika Mahathera of Kathmandu, Nepal, for his early recovery and good health. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Hedu bhajayo aramana bhajayo adibadi bhajayo anandara bhajayo samanandara bhajayo sahajada bhajayo anyamanya bhajayo nizaya bhajayo Upa nizaya bhajayo purijada bhajayo pachajada bhajayo asivana bhajayo kama bhajayo vipaka bhajayo ahara bhajayo indriya bhajayo jana bhajayo maga bhajayo zambayukta bhajayo vipayukta bhajayo eti bhajayo nati bhajayo Vigada bhajayo vigada bhajayo di Jayanta bodhiya mule sakyanam nadi vadana Eva meva jaya hotu jaya su jaya mangale Aparajita balam gesise putuvi pukale Abhizeke sabba buddhanang agopeto pamodati sunakhatang sumangalang supabhatang sutitang sukhano sumukta ja suhitang brahmajarisu padakhinang kaya kamang vaca kamang padakhinang padakhinang mano kamang paniditi padakhine padakhinani gadvana labhanti te padakhine te atalada sukhita vayula buddha sasane aroga sukhita hota sahasabihi nyatibi itena sacha vajena sotite hotu sabada itena sacha vajena sababhaya dukkha andarayo dunimitam vinasando itena sacha vajena hotu te jaya mangalani. May all our most venerable Kutugoda Dhammavansa Mahanayaka Mahathero, most venerable Jnaneswara Mahathero, and most venerable Jnanapunika Mahathero recover soon and regain the health at the earliest possible. May all beings be happy and peaceful. I share the merit accrued from this prayer and all the good karmas, good deeds I have done for the people, for all living beings, and dedicate that prayer and merit for the good health, peace, harmony, and early recovery of this Venerable. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I, on behalf of Mahavati Temple at Bodh Gaya, would like to convey our warm greetings on this very auspicious occasion of 2564th Buddha Jayanti Vesak Day celebration. I also would like to convey our appreciation and congratulations to the International Buddhist Confederation, IBC, Delhi, for their initiative and coordination to celebrate the virtual Vesak Day 2020 Buddha Purnima through presence of live streaming for the benefit of Buddhist viewers worldwide, and also for organizing to observe the global prayer meet week dedicated to world peace, and particularly to pray for the victims of COVID-19 and their affected families, medical professionals, and all other frontline workers who are tirelessly serving to protect us from this dreaded pandemic. And from Mahavati Temple, we also try to present our prayer inside the Mahavati Temple by the resident monks of BTMC through our BTMC Facebook link for the benefit of devotees worldwide. And our link was viewed by 259,000 across the world. Once again, I would try to convey my greetings to all of you, and I request Venerable Bhikkhu Chalinda, Chief Monk of Mahavati Temple, for a short dedicated prayer. Thank you. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbatane supati citang sari rikadhatu mahabuddhing buddharupang sakalang sadayasa mule nisinnoa sabbari bijayang akapatu sabbanyutang satta Vande tang buddhipadapang imehete mahabuddhi lokanate napujita ahampite namasami bodhiraja namatute yang do nimitang awamanggalanca yoca manapo Sakuna sasadho papa gaho dusupinang akantang Buddha nubhawe na vinasamentu yang do nimitang awamanggalanca yoca manapo sakuna sasadho papa gaho dusupinang akantang dhamma nubhawe na vinasamentu Samentu yang do nimitang awamanggalanca yoca manapo sakuna sasadho papa gaho dosupinang akantang sanghanubhawe navina samentu sabitiyo vivajanto sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatu antarayo Sukhi digha yuko bhava bhavatu sabba mangala rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddha nubhavena sada suddhi bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangala rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhamma nubhavena sada suddhi Bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangala rakhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada suti bhavantu te.
Irasu Myamanenga Ahwan Shijare Degara Kamari Nalo Saiwan Ishambo Kabadu Kabadari Nalo Saiwan Ishambo Garonya Saidan Upata Bidawa Ayadama Ananda Dhirowiya Hola Asyanana Madhiji Kedo Karuna Meda Shema Thabiro Yadana Thodango Dirigu Woyose Dai Yopa Pamyaro Mujaya A chain Damavi Tangaro Shemya Dupaya Yani da Buddhani Tamagadani Bhaumani Vayani Va Andaleke Tabewa Buddha Thumana Bhavandu Athapi Thakisa Thunandu Badhita Tathamai Buddha Nitha Medha Tabe Medangarotha Manodhiya Basaya Diwasarato Saharandi Yevale Tathamahi Nirakata Ababada Yangaisi Veda Ida Wahuranwa Bhagedhu Vayayaranam Panida Nanadhama Adhidathagadena Idambi Bodhayaranam Panida Edena Disena Duati Hodu Wanabagombi Yata Bodhi Dege Gaimana Madi Batama the main game Dadu Bama Damawaran Adi the Yi Naibanaga Me Baramang Hidaya Idambi Bodhi Yaranam Banida Edina Disena Duati Hodu Wara Waranyu Warada Warahara Nodara Dhamma Waranga Devayi Idambi Bodhi Yaranam Banida Edina Disena Duati Hodu Yani da Buddha ni Dhammagadani Bhaumani wa yani wa anda leke Dadagada dewa manodha buzida Buddha namadha madhuati hodu Yang gaisi vaida ida wa hura wa Tagidu wa yang yarana banida Nano Dhamma Adi Dadhagadena Idambi Dhamme Yarana Banida Edena Disena Duati Hodu Kaya Viraga Madam Banida Yadisaka Dajamuni Dhamahida Nadina Damina Dhamadi Gaisi Idambi Dhamme Yarana Banida Edina Disena Duati Hodu Yam Buddha Dita Pariwanayi Duse Dhamadi Manandari Kinya Mahu Dhamadi Nadina Dhamona Vaisadi Idambi Dhamme Yarana Banida Edina Disena Duati Hodu Yanida Buddhani Dhammagadani Bhaumani wa yani wa andaleke Dadagadan dewa manodha buzida Dhamma namadha madhuati hodu Yang gaisi vaida ida wa hura wa Tagidu wa yang yarana banida Nano Dhamma Adi Dadhagadena Idambi Dhange Yarana Banida Edina Disena Duati Hodu Ye Bogala Dhadadam Badadha Sadari Edani Yugani Hondi Dedekhi Niya Dugada Dadavaka Ede Dudainani Mahabhalani Idambi Dhange Yarana Banida Edina Disena Duati Hodu Ye Dhapayoda Manatha Danlena Negamina Gautama Dadanami De Padi Pada Madang Vigasya Lada Muda Nebudai Bongsa Mana Idambi Dhange Yarana Banida Edena Disena Duati Hodu Yatainda Kila Padavaithi Dodhiya Sadobi Wadehi Adhambakampiya Tatubamantha Purithan Vadami Yariya Dhisani Avesa Padade Idambi Dhange Yarana Banida Edena Disena Duati Hodu Ye Riya Disani Vibhavayanti Abhira Penyena Dhudidhidani Kaisa Bide Hondi Bhutam Pamada Nade Bhava Adhama Mariyanti Idam Bidhange Yaranam Panida Edina Disena Dhuvadi Hodu Taha Vada Dhathana Thambadaya Tayathu Dhamma Sahita Bhavanti Vekaya Dethi Visikasi Tensa Vila Badawapi Yadhati Kaisi Saduha Bhaya Vibha Mauda Sesa Bhitanani Abhabhagada Idam Bidhange Yaranam Panida Edina Disena Dhuvadi Hodu Kaisa Bidha Gamagrodi Babaga Kayena Wasa Udasiddhatawa Abhabhado Datha Padaisadaya Abhabhada Dita Padatha Vauddha Idam Bidhange Yaranam Panida Edena Disena Dhuvadi Hodu Kinam Purana Navanati Thambhavam Virada Seda Yadiki Bhavadame Dekhina Bisa Avirang Lisanda Nebandi Dira Yatayam Badipo Idam Bidhange Yaranam Panida Edena Disena Dhuvadi Hodu Yanida Buddhani Dhamagadani Bhaumani Yani Andaleke Dadagadan Dewa Manodha Bhuzida Banga Namadha Madhuvadi Hodu Mahagarunika Natha Hidaya Thapa Banina Buridawa Barami Thapa Bada Thambodi Modama Edena Thisa Wisena Dhudide Hodu Thapada Sayanta Bodhiya Mule Thejana Nandi Vadana Ewa Mewa Sayo Hodu Sayathu Saya Mengale Aparasita Balenge Thithe Buddha Vipokale Abhideke Thapa Buddhana Eka Bado Pamodati Dodekatan Tu Mengalan Tu Babadan Tu Odhida Dogana Tu Muhodosa Tu Yetam Byamasari Tu Badekina Gaya Gama Wasa Gama Badekina Badekina Manogama Panidide Badekine Badekina Di Gadawana Labanda Di Badekine De Adalada Dukida Vidongla Buddha Dadane Aroga Dukida Hoda Dahada Behi Nyadibi Deadalada Dukida Vidongla Buddha Dadane Awira Dukida Hoda Dahada Behi Nyadibi Deadalada Dukida Vidongla Buddha Dadane Aniga Dukida Hoda Dahada Behi Nyadibi Deadalada Dukida Vidongla Buddha Dadane Abhya Bisa Dukida Hoda Dahada Behi Nyadibi Deadalada Dukida Vidongla Buddha Dadane Athoga Dukida Hoda Dahada Behi Nyadibi Yandoni Maida Wa Mengalensa Yo samana bodhaguna tatato Babekaho dhodupina aganda Buddha nuba vena vinatha mindu Yandauni maidan wa mingalensa Yo samana bodhaguna tatato Babekaho dhodupina aganda Dhamma nuba vena vinatha mindu Yandauni maidan wa mingalensa Yosamana bodhaguna tatato Babekaho dhodupina aganda Banga nuba vena vinatha mindu Bodhiya pisayo hotu idano punya mingalam Punya bagan thulabantu pamodantu tha devaka No amaga mimya taji parami yinju Zani dhutura sin kudoshen chonoto I Idan punya mingala Buddha thadana donshi zwalen Didan siya yisei thamye pinaipan myoman laye Athau jayade kamu mingala pya thi Bhariya thissa le in khaindasengo pyanshin sukhu Thupu yin than bhari nyan I Besayo upanidya amiyavi mocha ya jang kaung mya athau pan takhu thi Hotu mocha sensi phitpa sedari Idam punya bagansa wadinda khitpaung ma nita taung chincha ma Dajinda dasang dine napampoy athamarilo pamanyi thonte laye Dathe mataka chongya yade donglapa asi ikudo punya anitweko Tha devaka Kapama nidhamya vidya myaswa tattva ananda madhamya rodhi Donlapantu kosi alo nyili asonyi piwa Along pya tu aya yunanja base kaundari Doladana kosi alo nyili asonyi piwa Along pya tu aya yunanja kaundi piwe Pamodantu shwelanchi mi wakwambo si tui dhalo piti ngwe say ma thong la ye Aita yung atwe thulo mo chinu ko ben wamyota munenja base kaundari Pamodantu lupi rwe maka napi ban set thwe la ye Athene pyama chin lo mo pyadarin kapa dong ao Darahong layan maupiro wamya wanda Patana aung su akhaga pyu laye Ba thu than aung namai phin aung baitai Thon ja ba se kaung thati
Message from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. It gives me a great pleasure to offer greetings to Buddhist brothers and sisters across the world who are joining together on this occasion in the virtual celebration of Vesak, organized by the International Buddhist Confederation, IBC. Shakyamuni Buddha was born in Lumbini, attained enlightenment in Bodh Gaya, and passed away in Kushinagar 2,600 years ago. Yet, I believe his teachings is universal and continues to be relevant today. Moved by a deep sense of concern to help others, following his enlightenment, the Buddha spent the rest of his life as a monk, sharing his experience with everyone who wished to listen. Both his view of dependent arising and his advice not to harm anyone, but help wherever you can, emphasize the practice of nonviolence. This remains one of the most potent forces for good in the world today, for nonviolence, motivated by compassion, is to be of service to our fellow beings. In an increasingly interdependent world, our own welfare and happiness depends on many other people. Today, the challenges we face require us to accept the oneness of humanity. Despite the superficial differences between us, people are equal in their basic wish for peace and happiness. Part of Buddhist practice involves training our minds through meditation. For our training in calming our minds and developing qualities such as love, compassion, generosity, and patience to be effective, we must put them into practice in day-to-day life. Until relatively recently, the world's diverse Buddhist communities had only a distant understanding of each other's existence and no opportunity to appreciate how much we share in common. Today, almost the entire array of Buddhist traditions that evolved in different lands is accessible to anyone who is interested. What's more, those of us who practice and teach these various Buddhist traditions are now able to meet and learn from one another. As a Tibetan Buddhist monk, I consider myself an heir to the Nalanda's tradition. The way of Buddhism was taught and studied at Nalanda University, rooted in reason and logic, represents the zenith of its development in India. If we are to be 21st century Buddhists, it is important that we engage in the study and the analysis of Buddha's teachings, as so many did there, instead of simply relying on faith. The world has changed substantially since the time of the Buddha. Modern science has developed a sophisticated understanding of the physical realm. Buddhist science, on the other hand, has achieved a detailed first-person understanding of the workings of the mind and emotions, areas still relatively new to modern science. Each, therefore, has crucial knowledge with which to complement the other. I believe that combining these two approaches has great potential to lead to discoveries that will enrich our physical, emotional, and social well-being. While as Buddhists, we are the ones upholding the Buddha's teaching, but his message is relevant in our broader interaction with the rest of humanity. We need to promote interreligious understanding by underlying the fact that all religions promote happiness of all people. Also, in this time of serious crisis confronting the world, when we face threats to our health and we feel saddened for the family and the friends we have lost, we must focus on what unites us as members of one human family. Accordingly, we need to reach out to each other with compassion, for it is only by coming together in a coordinated global effort we will meet the unprecedented challenges we face. Dalai Lama, 6th May 2020. Thank you.
IBC සංවිධානයේ ඉල්ලීම් පරිදි මේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ සියලු දෙනාටම සම්පූර්ණම නිරෝගී සම්පන්නිය දීර්ඝායු සම්පන්නිය ලැබේවා කියලා මම ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. කොරෝනා වෛරසයෙන් මියගිය සියලු දෙනාටමත් අපි යාපත ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන පරලෝක ජීවිතේ රෝගී තත්වයෙන් සිටින සියලු දෙනාටම නිරෝගී සුවය ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. සමස්ත ලෝකවාසී රෝගීව සිටින කොරෝනා වෛරසයෙන් පීඩා විඳින ජනතාවට අපි සියලු දෙනාම එකම රටක ජනතාව වශයෙන් මේ තත්වයට එරෙහිව නැගී සිටියා. අපේ රටත් ඒ පිළිබඳව ඉහළම මට්ටමින් නැගී සිටියා. ලෝකේ බොහෝ රටවල් ඒට එරෙහිව නැගී සිටියා. හැම දිනාටම නිරෝගී සම්පන්නිය ලැබේවා, දීර්ඝායු සම්පන්නිය ලැබේවා කියලා මම ආශිර්වාද කරනවා.
အားလုံးကဘာသောကဘာသားများမင်္ဂလာပေါင်းနဲ့ပြည့်စုံကြပါစေဘုရားမဘုရားတော်တင်တဲ့သာမေတ္တာသည်မဟာတက္ကရီ68ခုကဆုံလာပြီးတောက်ကြတဲ့မှာဖန်ပြတော်မူပါတယ်။ဘာမြင်ပြီးနေပြီးချင်းအလောင်းတော်တိတ်တက်ကမေတ္တာသည်ရောက်ပဲသို့ဘုရားဘဝလှမ်းကြွတော်မူပါတယ်။ရောက်ပဲသို့ဘုရားဘဝလှမ်းကြွပြီးတဲ့အချိန်လက်ရလက်တော်ကိုပေါ်မြောက်ပြီးတော့ေရောဟာမတမေလောကတာငါသည်လောကသုံးပါးတွင်အမြတ်ဆုံးဖြစ်သည်စေတဝါမတမေလောကတာငါသည်လောကသုံးပါးတွင်အကြီးဆုံးဖြစ်သည်စေတဝါမတမေလောကတာငါသည်လောကသုံးပါးတွင်အကြီးဆုံးဖြစ်သည်ဆိုပြီးတော့အလောင်းတော်သိက္ခာပဋ္ဌာန်းသည်သုံးခုသောစကားဖြင့်ရေရေတောင်ကျုံဝါမျက်စွေတော်မူခဲ့ပါလေမဟာတက္ကရီတရားသုံးခုကဆုံလာတဲ့ဘုရားကုနဲ့ဘုံလုံးဒီအရုံလက်ခံတဲ့အချိန်ဘောဓိပင်အားလုံးရှိတဲ့ထဲမှာဘုရားဖြစ်သူရောက်ရှိတော်မူပါတယ်မြတ်စွာဘုရားဖွင့်လာတဲ့အခါကျတော့တတ္တဝါတွေဟာဒီတရားတွေကတော့အပြည့်မရှိခြင်းကောင်းသောအကျိုးပေးခြင်းကုသိုလ်တရားတွေပဲဆိုတာသိရှိလို့ရတယ်။ဒီတရားတွေကတော့အပြည့်နဲ့တဝါဖြစ်ခြင်းမကောင်းတဲ့အကျိုးပေးခြင်းအကုသိုလ်တရားတွေပဲဆိုတာသိရှိလို့ရတယ်ပါလေ။မြတ်စွာဘုရားဖွင့်လာတဲ့အခါကျတော့ကုသိုလ်အကုသိုလ်တရားတွေကိုလည်းပဲဒီခြားခြားသိရှိလို့ရခဲ့တယ်။မြတ်စွာဘုရားဖွင့်လာတဲ့အခါကျတော့ကာမ17ခုရူပ16ခုအရူပ4ခု32ခုရှိတယ်ဆိုတာလည်းပဲမြတ်စွာဘုရားဖွင့်လာတဲ့အခါကျတော့တတ္တဝါတွေဟာသိရှိဖြစ်ရခဲ့ပါတယ်။မြတ်စွာဘုရားဖွင့်လာတဲ့မြတ်စွာဘုရားဖွင့်လာတဲ့အခါမှာကာမ17ခုရူပ26ခုအရူပ4ခု32ခုမှာလွတ်မြောက်ရာဖြစ်တဲ့နိဗ္ဗာန်ချမ်းသာရှိတဲ့ဆိုတာကိုလည်းပဲမြတ်စွာဘုရားဖွင့်လာတဲ့အခါကျတော့တတ္တဝါတွေဟာအတွင်းမဲ့သိရှိပြရခဲ့ပါတယ်။မဟာတက္ကရီတရား48ခုကဆုံလာပြီးအင်္ဂါတဲ့ပုံလို့ဒီဘုဒ္ဓကံရဲ့အခြေအနေကုသနာယောလေးမနာမင်းတို့ရဲ့အင်းကြီးဥယျာဉ်မှာမြတ်စွာဘုရားပရိနိဗ္ဗာန်ဆံတော်သွားပါလေဘုရားကရမမြတ်စွာဘုရားကြီး45ပါးကာလပတ်တော်ဟောကြားတော်မူသောတရားတော်များကိုအပ္ပမဒေနတတိတိဘုသောစကားတစ်လုံးနဲ့ထည့်သွင်းပြီးတော့နောက်ဆုံးဩဝါဒစကားကိုဒီလိုဝင်ကြခဲ့ပါလေဟာနာတံဒီဘိကဝေအမန္တေယမိဘောဝေယဓမ္မသင်္ခါရအပ္ပမဒေနနမတိထာခြေသာခြေသမီးတို့အပြာတိအကုသကာအားကြခဲ့ပဲယုံနာဓမ္မသင်္ခါရတရားတွေဖြစ်ပြီးပြည့်စုံခြင်းမှာပဲမဖြစ်မပြတ်တဲ့ဩနာမေကိယဖြစ်တဲ့နိဗ္ဗာန်ချမ်းသာကိုအပ္ပမနာကိုယ်ကိုမြင့်မြတ်ရောတော့သတိတရားနဲ့ပြည့်စုံစွာနေကြမယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဩနာမေကိယဖြစ်တဲ့
ලෝක ප්‍රකට මහා පඬිවරයෙක් විදිහට සැලකුම් ලැබූ වස්කඩුවේ රාජෘෂි සුබෝධි නාහිපාන් වහන්සේ වැඩ සිටි වස්කඩුව මහා විහාරයේ විශේෂයෙන් මතක් කරන්නට ඕන ඉන්දියාවේ කපිලවස්තුපුර ශ්‍රී සක්‍රධාතුන් වහන්සේලා වැඩින්න විහාරස්ථානයේ ආශිර්වාදය පළ කිරීමට අපි පළමු කොටම කැමැති. ඉන්දියාවේ 1898 දී හිටපු පුරාවිද්‍යාඥ ඇලෙක්සැන්ඩර් කනින්ගම් මහත්මයා විශේෂයෙන්ම පෙප්පේ මහත්මයාගේ පූර්ණ අනුග්‍රහයෙන් ඒ පිප්‍රාවා චෛත්‍ය කැණීම් වලින් හමු වෙච්ච උතුම් කපිලවස් ධාතුන් වහන්සේලා 21 නමක් මෙම විහාරස්ථානෙම කාලෙම ලබා දීලා පරිත්‍යාග කරලා අද දක්වා මේ විහාරස්ථානයේ පූජෝපහාරයට ලක් වෙමින් වැඩ ඉන්නවා. එම විහාරස්ථානයේ ඉඳගෙන අපි මේ වෙලාවේදී මේ කාල සීමාව තුළ ලෝකයේම පැතිරී යන බරපතල විෂණයක් සැලකෙන මේ කොරෝනා රෝගයට පත්වෙච්ච හැම දිනාටම ආශිර්වාද කරන්න අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකාව විතරක් නෙමෙයි අපේ අසල්වැසි ඉන්දියාව වගේම ලෝකයේ සියලුම රටවල් වල මෙම විෂණය පැතිරෙමින් පවතිනවා. ඉතින් අපේ අපේක්ෂාව තමයි මේ උතුම් ධාතුන් වහන්සේගේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් මේ ලෝකවාසී හැම දිනාටම අවශ්‍ය සිත ශාන්තිය ප්‍රාර්ථනා කිරීම. අපි මතක් කරන්න ඕන විශේෂයෙන්ම ලංකාවට බුදුදහම පැමිණියේ ඉන්දියාව හරහා. බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේගේ ධර්මයේ දේශනාවනේ ඉන්දියාවේ. ඉතින් වර්තමානයේ ඉන්දියාවේ රාජ්‍ය නායකයා විදිහට කටයුතු කරන ඒ අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය නරේන්ද්‍ර මෝදි මැතිතුමන්ටත් ඒ වගේම ඒ IPC ආයතනය සහ සම්බන්ධ වන විවිධ රටවලින් හැමදෙනාටමත් විශේෂයෙන්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකාව නියෝජනය කරන ඒ පිරිසටත් මේ වෙලාවේදී අපි මේ උතුම් ධාතුන් වහන්සේගේ විශේෂ ආශිර්වාදය පුද කරන්න කැමැති. ඒකම යම් ආකාරයකින් මේ රෝගයට විෂණයට පත් වුණා පමණක් නෙවෙයි පත්වන පමණක් නෙවෙයි. ඒ ආශ්‍රිතව ජීවත් වෙන හැම කෙනෙකුටම නිරෝගී සුවය අපි ඊ타ත්ම වමනාංශ හැඟීමෙන් මේ වෙලාවේදී ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. මා ඔබට මේ වෙලාවේදී තුනුරුවන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදය ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන්න කැමැතියි. සබ්බීතියෝ විවච්ඡන්තු සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු මාතේ භවත්තු අන්තරායෝ සුඛී දීඝායුකෝ භව භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්칸තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ.
全球的地球家的同胞们，我们都是生命伙伴，一同面对这个劫难，这个病毒，同心协力的，让我们能够解决这个病毒的问题。过去呢，我们在这个 SARS 的时候，我们也是大家一起，我们全灵鹫山呢一起去念这个雷恩言咒。那么念了21天呢，我们就有了收获。我们这次还是一样，我们会念到1亿遍的这个灵言咒。什么叫咒呢？就是我们从这个量子力学去讲，起心动念都是物质，起心动念都是能量。量子力学呢，就是你不动念呢就没有变化，一动念就有变化，就有存在的东西。所以我们讲量子，就是没有分别心的， 去念咒，就是不要有分别执着心。我们念咒的时候呢，不晓得那个咒是什么东西，只能说它是一个除障的，所以我们一起共振共鸣，把这个量子，就是除障这个量子，用共振的共同念，来让这个共振的力量来连接到病障的病源的地方，那么让他们缓和、减少，或者是没有那个对立关系。我想这个还是需要的，因为我们总觉得呢，我们都可以解决。事实上，很多事情，人真的不是胜天的，还是有我们很多地方是这个我们没有办法去降服的。那么如果我们大家有分别心，有你我心，有这个念咒的时候不专心，那什么效果都没有。大家心在一起，共同为了解决这个病情来做出这种解决的方法。比如说我们各宗教各搞各的，你就是要祈祷，就是要做对这个疫情做一些解冤解业的祈祷，或是这个赶紧消除生命和平呢，就是跟这个持咒呢是有关系的。我们叫心和平，世界就和平。所以要让心和平呢，持咒呢，心就静下来了。心静下来的时候呢，我们持咒的时候呢，就没有杂念。然后我们持起咒来呢，这个心就会安定。一安定呢，就不会说我们紧张这个病毒来让侵扰我们，会得到这个病毒。我们是不是最命运不太好就被贴上了？事实上，你只要持咒，你就要做一些善的念头来回向。就是我们人总是不能自私，一自私呢，大家都倒霉。所以我们每一个人都能够把自私拿掉，为世界，为大家一起祝福，让这个世界更美好，更能够呢，像天堂一样，就是诸恶莫作的时候呢是天堂，众善奉行呢是天堂。
कोरोना के दौरान इंटरनेशनल बुद्धिस्ट कॉन्फेडरेशन ने बुद्ध पूर्णिमा के दिन एक विश्व प्रार्थना का जो क्रम शुरू किया, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उद्घाटन समारोह में भाग लिया। और हमारे यहाँ कहा जाता है कि जो काम दवा नहीं करती है वो दुआ करती है। उसके माध्यम से जो असमय में मृत्यु को प्राप्त हुए हैं उनकी आत्मा की शांति के लिए प्रार्थना है। जो कोरोना से संक्रमित हुए हैं उनके स्वस्थ शीघ्र होने की कामना है। और जो कोरोना योद्धा हैं, चाहे डॉक्टर हैं, नर्सेज हैं, पैरामिलिट्री स्टाफ हैं, या पुलिस हैं, या मीडिया कर्मी हैं, उन सबके प्रति कृतज्ञता की भावना है। और आईबीसी के इस आह्वान पर अहिंसा विश्व भारती, जैन समाज की तमाम संस्थाएं और देश दुनिया से जुड़े हुए लोग इसमें सम्मिलित हुए हैं। मैं पुनः सबको अपील करता हूं कि वे अधिक से अधिक इस प्रार्थना से जुड़े और इस प्रार्थना के माध्यम से हम दुआ करें, उन सबके प्रति शुभकामना करें, मंगल कामना करें। ओम अरहम।
三界之当，作业就能来，将就把多大念点所见，大概尽所地别作能见，着拉本界三界诸佛说，三界之当，作业就能来，将就把多大念点所见。大概尽所地别作能见，着拉本界三界诸佛说。 三界觉当作业作能来，相救把多大念掉所见，大概尽所地别作能见，着来并且三界诸佛学， Simjian Tamjie Dawa Dan Devi Judan Demba Juj Simjian Tamjie Dunge Dan Dunge Ji Judan Jawa Juj Simjian Tamjie Dunge Mebe Dawa Dan Meje Wa Juj Simjian Tamjie Nirin Chadan Nidan Jevi Dan Nyulan Dewa Juj Simjian Tamjie Dawa Devi Judan Demba Juj Simjian Tamjie Dunge Dan Dunge Ji Judan Jawa Juj Simjian Tamjie Dunge Mebe Dewa Dan Meje Wa Juj Simjian Tamjie Nirin Chadan Nidan Jevi Dan Nyulan Dewa Juj Simjian Tamjie Dewa Dan Devi Judan Demba Juj Simjian Tamjie Dunge Dan Dunge Ji Judan Jawa Juj Simjian Tamjie Dunge Mebe Dewa Dan Meje Wa Juj Simjian Tamjie Nirin Chadan Nidan Jevi Dan Nyulan Dewa Juj Tange Denjin Jawa Jung Gaba Meba Jimeba Cheba Meba Tameba Wa Meba Jomeba Tade Dumi Dunji Me Zheba Nishi Shidemba Zobe Sanje Manam Jie Tangba Dela Cha Ze Lo Ninze Xiawa Zun Guixi Niji Nishi Chenze Hanyan Zhou La Penba Qianang Lamxi Niji Jiden Tunzhu Zeba Gangda Jiangda Denbe Tunang Nangba Gunden Lazuo Nisong Ninde Chenju Senbe Cuoxie Sanje Jine Yumde La Cha Ze Lo Dobe Tawo Zhewa Namse Xin Sabxi Jiaxi Gumao Gundo Sangbu Wese Da Gunnen Chola Cha Ze Lo Ma Lü Simjie Gunye Gunyu Jie Dede Pengze Mese Zhongze Wana Ma Lü Yangdang Huye Wei Zhongdian Huye Nende Xie Su Su Dewen Bai Zhongdian De Di Xin Xie Ba Zhang Zhong Ba Yang An Tao Zobe Sanje Zhiba Dan Shab Zuo Den Ba Dewa Xie Jiden Jian Bai Jibo Dube Kaluo Yuba Lana Me Padan Me Nam Ye Dongba Sanje Zhongdian De Be Jiangwa Xia Tuba La Cha Zelo Xue Do Jiao Zu Xie Ai Wu Dongba Zhongdian De Di Xin Xie Ba Zha Zhong Ba Yang Dao Zobe Sanje Zhiba Dan Shab Zuo Den Ba Dewa Xie Jiden Jian Bai Jibo Dube Kaluo Yuba Lana Me Ba La Dan Me Nam Ye Dongba Sanje Zhongdian Be Jiao Xia Jia Tuba La Cha Zelo Xue Do Jiao Zu Xie Wu Dongba Zhongdian De Di Xin Xie Ba Zha Zhong Ba Yang Dao Zobe Sanje Zhiba Dan Shab Zuo Den Ba Dewa Xie Jiden Jian Bai Jibo Dube Kaluo Yuba Lana Me Padan Me Nam Ye Dongba Sanje Zhongdian De Be Jiao Xia Jia Tuba La Cha Zelo Xue Do Jiao Zu Xie Wu Gang Zhe Ga Ni Zhou Wu Jue Dang Zhe Sa Jian De Na Gong Ba Dun Ba An Nian Ji Dian De Na Xue Jie Song De Jie Jie Ba Jue La Cha Nam Da Gong Ai Qiu Du Su Sang Wa Yi Xie Jiao Zu Si Jie Lun Bo Zha Ba Ji Dian Su Na Han Nie Ba Gong Bo Qiu Ni Jue La Cha Zhen Jiang Dian Ba Jin Mian Da Wei Xie San Do Zhao Wa Jue La Cha对着军长西瓦苏马杰也没听见去了下红波多些前电报他们这天北东报说那原点叫做先地心写了下大别对家这话就地位你说来着几多等当时就把心就去了下这年这边南阳的老爸打了热多呢，现在当把原点的进的南阳茶子，三年走了茶子，我就我去了茶子， 因觉教大cha这罗松拉大多回家子，恰恰与我他们接来心对婚结这年纪，论对把也能更多却多的为恰子，干嘛的人嘛没大就嘛是我求我。没让落单见到我，对些学能的大大，所能的他们这是我也，我把他们的军业这对，高当那当西北了这边，西北错了着我说，讲究生着人不接爱嘛也不能解决解。结巴娘巴没巴样，黄年黄多陪我说，讲究生着人不接爱嘛也不能解决些。结巴娘巴没巴样，黄年黄多陪我说，讲究生着人不接爱嘛也不能解决些。结巴娘巴没巴样，黄年黄多陪我说。江北把为期待天华堂，滚度上坡天阳的线路，天朝滚节结束大龙节，天华的大堂节热度，对送西北天华堂节节，我话看了就多看我的。大仙天月早晚的滚节，上坡去就热度我说。把马心间他们间的当的有节，念着他们间多多动我堂，想就生把可能所修过，得到婚节莫乱主我说，还是让为我为心刚说，平当的我马路中人呢，今日生活定真家作业，下辈子的把多等有节。
This short prayer is dedicated for the victims of COVID-19 global pandemic and for their families, for the medical professionals, first responders, and all frontier workers for serving and protecting and their efforts to overcome this global pandemic. Now I offer my short prayer. Sanje Jodang Soje Janang La Janju Bardu Dane Jasu Dake Jison Jebe Sonan Jen Rola Benjara Sanje Robala Sho Sanje Jodang Soje Janju Bardu Dane Jasu Dake Jison Jebe Son Rola Benjara Sanje Robala Sho Sanje Jodang Soje Janang La Janju Bardu Dane Jasu Dake Jison Jebe Sonan Jen Rola Benjara Sanje Robala Sho Sanje Tamje Dev Devi Judan Demba Juji Dunga Dan Dunga Ji Judan Chao Dunga Mebi Dewa Dan Mandawa Juji Niren Chadan Dan Danyong La Nepa Churo Ji Manje Shinge Domba Zosan Ji Shaji Jabu Korso Jan Sanje Shinge Haba Junang Le Chochuro Dewa Jana Kuch Shinde Uso Renje Jembe Tong Lame Domba Denjo Pame Pema Rake Nombo Taji Uze Jewe Jana Kucha Chambi Yanjin Jebe Son Jo Tunze Tunze Jinyo Be Dajo Namja Membe Sebo Chancho Choto Junze La Cha Nanzo Tube Kichiri Nanzo Jingen Gomendo Nala Nanzo Zebe Pende Kun Tene Same Chabla Kucha Jere Zedan Tujeto Siji Jawa Nanki Tukan Shin Togi Janzo Nini Tanda Nyambe Korzo La Cha Nanjo Chu Zen Sacha Jubra Jibi Yonze Janzo Nama Gezo Nanda Mola Jinde Zude Tonga Gocha Dajen Tusun Sabe Zaju Lame Tuje Chenanda Opa Mengo Tuje Jansu Datan Susuro Chamben Roa Namje Tsende Nawa Nebi Sanje Kunje Mabe Jinge Cho Dewa Jinje Taba Teti Opa Mebe Jacho Toma Sho Toma Tatu Sonya Jat Zabji Jache Teva Choju Ne Tedan Shira Sondantin. Yunte Choji Radio Kama Shoran Lu Jingi Dunye Tubo. Kijere Choju Junju Ne Pinto Zambo Choju Jaj. Sanje Seje Malu Chopa Shon Laya Tabi Jinde Ngombo. Lejola Me Sona Choje Ne Teje Choju Zamole. Janju Joba Malu Tachin Shon Nije Mata Jingi Susu yi jian de gu zhen jie de ga ba jie xian te ba sun te nan zhou tarbe lam lan ju ba shu nan jie guang bang dang ba mo ju gu ye du wa tang jie de ba ye jiang ju ju be sa la ya san jie yi xie zhou lan guo ba shu jia wan jie de wang ju xian qu jin zhou ne ji ji ge long ge san jie xin ge guo ba song ne ju da be xie zang de ba shu ra ge san ne jia wei sen Gomba Jidu Tabe Mona Jo Zambo Jube Mona Jit Datan Jube Nyutun Jo Parasho Pema Damji Mabu Da Susun Teme Mak Sibi Pemo Lechove Dewa Jindu Jevrasho Padela Me Kuse Tembo Kanyan Yuna De Jin Jong Dan Daje Malu Sosabit Nyutu Sanje Salang Goprasho, Tembe Paju Lami Jabe, Tenze Jibo Samte Yon, Tembe Jendang Tanjurba, Temba Yure Nebe Tashijon, Jite Deje Lele Tambruna, Gile Tamjen Jong, Yilando Bakundu Sho, Sanje Kusun Dimbe Chen, Chuni Minjuru Dembe Chen, Tangindu Mechen Dembe Chen, Chidang Molando Juroji.
අපේ රටේ ජනතාවට පමණක් නොව ලෝකේ පුරාම මේ අභාග්‍ය සම්පන්න වෙලාවේදී කොරෝනා රෝගය පැතිරිලා තිබෙනවා. අපට වඩා බොහොම බලවත් ඇමරිකාව, එංගලන්තය, ප්‍රංශය, ජර්මනිය ඔය ආදී සෑම රටකම මේ රෝගය පැනදිලා ජනතාව ඉතාමත්ම දුකට පත්වලා ඉන්න වෙලාවයි. මේ අවස්ථාවේදී අපි ප්‍රාර්ථනාවක් කරනවා රටේ ජනතාවටත් ලෝක ජනතාවටත් සිතක් ශාන්තියක් වේවා. ඒ සඳහා මේ පිරිත් දේශනා කරනවා භික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා. ඒ වගේම තව නොයෙක් විදිහේ ධාර්මික කටයුතු කරනවා. ඒ පුණ්‍ය බලයෙන් රටටම ජනතාවටම සිතක් ශාන්තියක් වේවා.
Tangpude ne tiring di nyintung di sigen da sengen tsangwa la pyoge ge tong ne tsamdi jumen ge tsamdi shue yin ane nga gishi tashitiri yin tada seme tosam nolin chasangi kenpyo ge mingdi kini deyu. I would like to express sincerely and genuinely warm greetings to all the people who are going to view this short video. And also I'm going to express my deepest gratitude to all the people, the leaders, spiritual leaders, political leaders, who work tirelessly during this very challenging time due to the coronavirus crisis. On behalf of all the monks, Serme Noling Monastery's monks, first of all, I would like to share this very important point, that is, during this world crisis, we all should work together. All the different countries and different citizens on this planet, the leaders and the citizens come together and they bring the solutions to overcome this challenge. I have a strong belief that we can overcome very soon from this virus through working together, leaders, scientists, virologists, and so forth. And this is our humble request. Then I would like to express our gratitude to the leaders and also the doctors who work in hospital selflessly, nurses who look after patients day by day, night by night, week after week. The cleaners, the caretakers who do their job extremely well on behalf of the communities. The security people who keep us safe. So we'd like to express our sincere gratitude. Also, I would like to express our sincere, genuine condolences to the families who lost their loved ones, and prayer and dedications to the patients who are in the hospital receiving treatments and in home. May they quickly recover from this illness and go into their daily joys and happiness. And now I would like to say few prayers in English and Tibetans. Chonama Guna Ludan Seme Dunge Neba Jiniba Teda Dagi Sunamaji Dega Jazo Tobarasho. May beings everywhere who suffer torment in their minds and bodies have, by virtue of my merit, joy and happiness in bundles measure. Teda korwa chese do namya dele nyamanjo dove lana mebai dewa jume chedo. As long as they may linger in samsara, may their joy be undiminished. May they taste of unsurpassed beatitude in constant and unbroken continuity. Chise namga neba dang dowa chise ne Dese tane ne juro ne dove dome sewara sho. And may now, as long as space endures, as long as there are beings to be found, may I continue likewise to remain, to drive away the sorrows of the world. Dove donge kangje arung, degun dala menjuroje, chanjo sembe gendunje, dove dela chobara sho. the pains and sorrows of the all wandering beings, may they ripen wholly upon myself, and may the virtuous company of bodhisattvas always bring about the happiness of beings.
Hi everyone. Now I'm going to talk about the Buddha Jayanti Day. I am Venerable Dr. Ashinandaka. I'm a Vice Chancellor of Dhammaduta Jekenda Buddhist University from Myanmar. Today is Buddha Jayanti Day. So this is auspicious time for all of us because Buddha Jayanti Day. Buddha Jayanti means the Buddha defeats all defilement. Also, Buddha's enlightenment day. Buddha has attained omniscient. Buddha has taken Sabanyuda Jnana today under the Bodhi tree. So everybody happy today. Today is a very outstanding day for all of Buddhist people because today also Buddha's pre-Nibbana day. Also, Buddha had got some practice for the previous Buddhas, Dibbingara Buddhas, to be future Buddha because Dibbingara Buddha predicted Sumedha Hamid to be the future Buddha as a Dharma Buddha. After fulfillment of his perfection. Under this Bodhi tree, Buddha realized the point of the truth. Also, around this Bodhi tree, Buddha stayed for about 7 weeks, revising his attainments. So that's why almost all Buddhist people, they came to Bodhi tree, they worshipped the Bodhi tree. So that's why today is a very auspicious day. The UN, United Nations also recognize this is a Vesak day, the Vesakha Purnima, the day of Vesak, full moon day of the Vesak, Buddha attained Sabanyuda Jnana. So that's why today is very auspicious for all of us. So we also keep in mind the Buddha's teaching for happiness of us, for happiness of all beings. Buddha, with the great compassion or great loving kindness, contributes to all welfare of all the people in this world, in Dewa, Brahma, human world. So we appreciate the Buddha's message. Also, we try our best to contribute the Buddha's precious teachings. Also, we contribute our loving kindness to all people who are suffering in samsara. So this is it. Buddha Jayanti. Today is Buddha Jayanti. We celebrate for Buddha. Thank you very much for all of you. Thank you.
I'm happy to know that IBC and ABCB, who are organizing this prayer week for Corona victim. This prayer is dedicated to the global prayer week to prayer for the victim of the Corona pandemic. We also pray for the medical professional and all the Corona virus at the frontline who are putting their lives on risk in saving others. All the difficult time, I pray to the Tibetan for the well-being of the poor and needy and to end into Corona pandemic. Thank you.
ကဘာသူကဘာသားအားလုံးမင်္ဂလာပါလို့နှုတ်ခေါ်ဆက်သပါရစေဘုရားမြန်မာနိုင်ငံဒဝယ်မြို့မြန်မာရင်ငယ်သာနာရေးသာဘုရားကောလိပ်တွင်တရင်သုံးနေသောတရမဇောရိကဒသဗဒဒဣဒညာနာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီနေ့အဖြစ်ကဆိုလာပြီဗုဒ္ဓနဲ့ဖြစ်သည့်အားလျော်စွာတကဘာလုံးတိုက်တာနေအဖြစ်20နှစ်တိုင်ကြီးကျယ်ခမ်းနားစွာကျင့်ပနိုင်ကြတော့လည်းပဲဒီနေ့ဒီချီဒီနေ့မှာအကြာအားလျော်စွာCOVID-19 ကပ်ဆိုးကြီးကြာရောက်လာတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ကြီးကျယ်ခမ်းနားစွာကျင့်ပခွင့်မရကြပါဘူးထို့သောကြီးကျယ်ခမ်းနားစွာကျင့်ပခွင့်မရပေမဲ့လည်းပဲဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာများဖြစ်သည့်အားလျော်စွာဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာပြီးပြီး stay at home ဆိုတဲ့အတိုင်းမိမိရဲ့မိမိရဲ့ဌာနမှာနေပြီးဖရာကိုပူဇော်သောနေအားဖြင့်ဗုဒ္ဓနေ့ကိုပူဇော်သောနေအားဖြင့်ကိုယ်တော်များပွားများခြင်းဘာဝနာလုပ်ငန်းပရိပဋ္ဌာန်များရောက်ဖတ်ခြင်းမိမိရဲ့အိမ်မှာရှိသောဖရာစေတူတော်များအားခြေသပဲခြင်းပန်းစီမီများဖြင့်ပူဇော်ခြင်းအားဖြင့်ဘုရားနေ့ကိုကုသိုလ်စိတ်ဖြင့်ဆင်နွှဲနေတာကိုတွေ့ရပါတယ်ဒီကဲ့သို့မိမိတို့နိုင်ငံတော်ကချမှတ်ထားတဲ့စီကံဥပဒေများကိုလိုက်နာပြီးကုသိုလ်စိတ်ဖြင့်ဘုရားဘာသာပြီးဆင်နွှဲနေတာကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့လဲဝမ်းမြောက်နှုမောသာဓုအကြည်ကြည်ခေါ်ပါတယ်ဒီကတ်ဆုပ်ကြီးကိုကြော်ဖြတ်ဖို့ဆိုတာဟာလည်းပဲဒီယောဂများဖြစ်ခြင်းဟာလည်းပဲလူတွေရဲ့ကံကြမ္မာကြောင့်ဖြစ်သည့်အားလျော်စွာလူတွေကပဲဒီယောဂကြီးနောက်ဆက်တက်မဖြစ်အောင်ကုစားကြမှဖြစ်မှာပါဘုရားရှင်ဟောကြားခဲ့တဲ့တရားတော်တွေထဲမှာဒီဘေးဆိုးကပ်ဆိုးများဖြစ်ပေါ်လာခြင်းအကြောင်းရင်းသည်လူတွေနဲ့သက်ဆိုင်ရဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းအထူးအဖြင့်လူတွေမှာရှိကြတဲ့ကိလေသာဆိုးကြောက်ပါပဲအာဓမ္မရာဂဆိုတဲ့ မတော်မတရားကြစ်ခြင်းမိမိရဲ့အိထောင်ရေတစ်ခုတည်းနဲ့မကျေနပ်နိုင်ပဲနဲ့အိထောင်ရေတွေဖောက်ပြခြင်းဆိုတာလည်းပဲအကြောင်းရင်းတစ်ခုလို့ကျမ်းဂန်များမှာဖော်ပြထားတာရှိပါတယ်နောက်တစ်ချက်ကဝိသမလောဘမိမိချမ်းသာရင်ဘာနှဖူးတက်တူရမိမိချမ်းသာတာတစ်ခုတည်းကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့ဘယ်သူကမှမကြည့်တတ်သောမူဝါဒအိဒါမက်ဆေရီယာမနာလိုသဝန်တိုဒီလိုတရားဆိုးတွေကအစတနိုင်ငံနဲ့တနိုင်ငံဘလို့နည်းနဲ့ဘလို့နှိပ်ကောရမယ်ဘလို့စီးပွားရေးတွေနဲ့ဘလို့နာလာမထူအောင်စသည်ဖြင့်ဒီလိုဝိသမလောဘတွေဖြစ်ခြင်းလဲအကြောင်းရင်းတစ်ပါးလို့မိစ္ဆာဒိဋ္ဌိသူတစ်ပါးအသက်သားလို့ရှိရင်အပြစ်မရှိဘူးသူတစ်ပါးဥစ္စာကိုခိုးလို့ရှိရင်အပြစ်မရှိဘူးဆိုတဲ့မှားရသောအယူဝါဒတွေတတ္တဝါတွေကိုမညာမတာတကြဖြတ်ကြစားတော့ကြဒီလိုတတ္တဝါတွေရဲ့ပုံမှာမညာမတာကံကံအကျိုးယုံကြည်မှုမရှိဘူးကိုယ်ရင်းစာနာမှုမရှိဘူးဆိုတဲ့ဒီလိုမိစ္ဆာဒိဋ္ဌိအယူဝါဒတွေကြောင့်လည်းပဲကမ္ဘာလောကကြီးဟာဗယံပဒါဖြစ်ပြီးအဖြစ်သက်သောအရာတွေဥပတွေဘေးတွေဖြစ်လာရတယ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာတွေဟာလည်းပဲကျမ်းဂန်များမှာတွေ့ရပါတယ်ဒါကြောင့်လူတွေကြောင့်ဖြစ်ပေါ်လာသောဒီကပ်ဘေးဆိုးကြီးတွေကိုလူတွေကပဲဒီတရားဆိုးသောပါးကြီးကိုရှောက်ရှားပြီးတော့အများတတော်တွေရဲ့ပေါ်မှာတနာမှုညှတာမှုကိုချင်းစာမှုကုညီမှုဖေးမမှုဆောက်ရှောက်မှုအားလုံးရဲ့ပေါ်မှာဖျားဟောတာခဲ့တဲ့ဗျမစုတရားမေတ္တာကရုဏာမုဒိတာဥပေက္ခဆိုတဲ့ဒီဗျမစုတရားတိုင်းသာလျှင်ကြည်ကြံအားထုတ်ပွားများကြမယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ကဘာကြီးဟာရိတ်ချမ်းသာကြမှာပါဒါကြောင့်ဗုဒ္ဓနေ့မှာလောဘခတ်သိမ်းကင်းကြီးတော်မူသောမြတ်စွာဘုရားရှင်ရဲ့ဘုဒ္ဓကိုကြောင့်အာလုံးလောဘတွေကင်းစင်ကြပါစေဒေါသကင်းကြီးတော်မူပြီးသောမြတ်စွာဘုရားရှင်တွေရဲ့ဘုဒ္ဓကိုကြောင့်အရှိဝါကြောင့်ဒေါသတွေကင်းကြီးကြပါစေမောဟကင်းကြီးတော်မူပြီးသောဘုရားရှင်ရဲ့ဂုဏ်တတ္တိတွေကြောင့်အရှိဝါကြောင့်အာလုံးမောဟတွေကင်းစင်ကြပြီ
The IBC has been doing a tremendously significant service for the humanity for a long time. The Global Prayer Week they have launched is a timely service during this pandemic. I would like to make use of this opportunity to bless those who have been affected and those who have lost their lives during this pandemic. At the same time, I thankfully acknowledge the enormous services rendered by the personnel in the health and the security sector working in the front line. Sabetyo vivajjantu sabberoto vinasatu mate bhavatvansarayo sukhi dikhayu bhava.
Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami Puna puna saranang gacchami.
During this period of crisis, we need to prepare ourselves to face various challenges. And the biggest challenge that people are facing now is about the fear of death or the fear of losing one's loved ones. And the reality is this, that the process of dying has been going on from day one of our lives. From the time we were born, the cells in our body started to die. However, new cells also develop, and that's what keeping us alive. Our life energy actually depends on this delicate balance between the rate of the replicating cells and the rate of the dying cells. So if we look after this body well, it will carry on functioning for a longer time, but after some time, when this machinery in our body gets worn out and stops functioning, then we die. Death is certain. Life is uncertain. So why are we afraid to die? Because we have collected and accumulated so much stuff, so many things, from the time we were born until now. And we have been taught that this is mine, this is yours. So the idea of I, my, me, mine, this identity developed from very early days. When young, we collect toys, and when they are taken away from us, we cry. When we grow up, we make friends, we fall in love, we marry, we start a family, and when our loved ones fall sick or die, we cry. In order to take care of the family, we work very hard to own a house, an apartment or condo, a car, and so on. Then we buy a lot of things and collect a lot of souvenirs to decorate our houses. Then one day we need to shift to a smaller house or apartment, and we start to feel very sad because we can't take along all the things which we have cherished. So the list goes on and on. This is what grasping is about. We cling on to wealth, to relationship, fame and power, and so on. All this strengthen that false notion of the self as I, my, me, and mine, without realizing that all these things, including this body of ours, are constantly subject to change. So when we are threatened with losing them, losing all what we have accumulated, we naturally become afraid and fearful. This is how the tendencies of grasping, craving, and attachment leads to suffering. The whole teachings of the Buddha is about how to reduce and to overcome this grasping nature. And it involves our mind. We need to know what goes on in our minds. When we see something nice and beautiful, we usually attach a value or give a label to it, and then we keep on thinking about it as nice, beautiful, again and again. Because we have attached certain value to the things as nice and beautiful, naturally we experience pleasant feeling or sensation. We feel good. Then we want to see those things again. That is how craving arises. The same thing goes on with our other senses. What we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we feel, and is what we think and imagine. Now, take for another example. If you like to eat something, and I ask you to think about it again and again, and as you think about it again and again, you will begin to salivate. This is how you see how desire arises. Desire is a force. It is a force that drives us to get what we want. Once we get what we want, we feel satisfied. We are happy for a moment. This is what sensual pleasure is about. We obtain pleasures through the senses. When we cannot get what we want, then we get upset, we get angry. That's how craving leads to attachment and aversion. And that's how suffering arises. Craving is the cause of suffering. Now, how did the craving and desire arises? It is actually through our own minds, by thinking, rethinking, again and again, again and again. If this craving force is something which we have created in our own minds, surely we can discreate it. How do we discreate it? Now this is what Buddhist meditation is about. It is about stilling the mind, to make the mind still, calm and still. So when the mind becomes more and more silent, until it reaches a point when the very momentum of silence will eventually break the habit pattern of the mind to create thoughts. And when that happens, a real transformation takes place within ourselves. So when we see things, our mind is silent and quiet. We don't create further thoughts. So in the same way, when we hear something, we hear a sound, we feel, or we taste something, our mind is silent. We don't create further thoughts. So that is how we reduce and eventually overcome the tendencies of grasping. And that's how suffering can be ended. It may take some time, but if you persevere, you put in the right effort, you are persistent and consistent in your practice in order to break the strong habit pattern of the mind, that strong habit pattern of the mind of thinking, rethinking again and again. But if we make a strong determination, then we follow up with our practice, then we will succeed one day. You will succeed one day. All you need to do now is to make an aspiration, a strong wish, that through all the merits, all the good things which you have done, may these merits pave the way for you to make the right connections, to meet authentic teachers, and that you will have the opportunity to further develop and purify your minds from the tendencies of greed, hatred, and delusion, cultivating the qualities of generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom. This will put you on the right path, the path to your final liberation. So may the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha be with you all, and may your wish come true. May you be an inspiration to all. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Puṇa puṇa saraṇaṃ.
Kāngi tēnjīn rāwañ yung gāpa mēwa, kye mēwa, cheba mēwa, tā mēwa, hūwa mēwa, rō mēwa, tādē tū mē tēnjīn mē, chōpa nye jīshī tēnpa, dzōbe sāngyē mānam jī, tāmbā tēlā chā tē lō. My homage and prostrations to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Dear brothers and sisters all over the world, I'm extremely honored and privileged to be with you all virtually for a short while and speak a few words on this concluding event of the Global Prayer Week initiated by the International Buddhist Confederation, IBC, New Delhi, India, and dedicated to pray for the victims of the COVID-19 pandemic, their families, and the frontline service personnel, including medical, security, and first-hand media professionals. First of all, I would like to wholeheartedly congratulate and thank the head office and officials of IBC led by its Secretary General, Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya, for their wonderful initiatives of organizing virtual Vesak Buddha Purnima Day on May 7, 2020, and a global prayer week immediately following that sacred occasion. dedicated for the well-being of the COVID-19 pandemic victims and frontline support people. I'm happy to know that these initiatives were very well received by their global audience. There is no need to talk about the nature and impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Information on them in all forms is available more than actually necessary. All-out efforts are also being made from all sides and at all levels to overcome the massive problem. As we all witness, much of the problem has to do with the disorder or disturbance of human mind and emotions like intense fear, doubt, and despair. So, the religious masters and institutions have a very crucial role and responsibility in this problem, as much as the medical professionals and hospitals have. In this connection, I would like to report that like many leaders and institutions of other Buddhist traditions of the world, our Tibetan Buddhist leaders and institutions in India and elsewhere have been actively engaged in calming down the outburst of human sufferings and in extending a helping hand to the urgent needs of the affected individuals, families, and the society at large in various forms. The Department of Religion and Culture of the Central Tibetan Administration, Dharamsala, India, has called upon all Tibetan monasteries and nunneries in exile for performing various daily and weekly prayers and rituals from March 2020 onwards for the well-being of the COVID-19 victims and the frontline service people worldwide. It also includes a weekly special prayer event for purification and restoration of the highly polluted and damaged global environment. Many spiritual leaders and experts are constantly engaged in providing much needed spiritual and emotional guidance to the affected individuals and community through various media. I would like to express my deep appreciation and gratitude to all of them for their exemplary dedication and generosity in this regard, in this great hour of need and crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic has already been and is certainly going to be a great centennial lesson and alert to our contemporary world. Ultimately, it's nothing but a revelation of the law of karma. It's nothing but the reaction of our past action. The behavior and attitude of the modern world in the past century towards the natural environment and non-human living species has been unthinkably rude and destructive. Until and unless our world mends its way, there will be no end to pandemics and other natural disasters. Let's all pray that our world mends its present way and see better and happier times in the future. Simjen neba chenyeba nyudu nele trojujin rowe nene maluba tadun jungwa meba shun rowe dunge menjibu dewa tamjen jungwe ne temba nyedan kurdit che de yurin ne gyurji. Thank you all very much.
So we are so grateful to the Venerable Dharma here and all of those connected with the International Buddhist Confederation for the wonderful organization which they have done for this virtual Vesak and the Global Prayer Week. It's wonderfully encouraging how many people have joined in this and been inspired during these very, very challenging times which we are all going through now. So I would like to offer as our contribution from Tunjigatsaling Nunnery the prayer of Shantideva taken from the Bodhicharya Avatara, the way of Bodhisattva. So, may all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of these merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall sick. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. On this very auspicious day, I would like to pay my homage to all the enlightened Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to all and everyone in the Mahasangha. First of all, I would like to express my deepest gratitude and congratulations to International Buddhist Confederation for making such an effort to organize this very virtual celebration of Buddha Purnima all over the world. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this. As we are all going through this very special experience in our life because of coronavirus, COVID-19, we are not able to celebrate this very auspicious day physically together, but still we can celebrate it virtually thanks to the technology. It's really sad, so many people around the world losing their precious lives. So many people who are infected are afraid of losing their lives, precious lives. And those who are not infected are afraid of being infected. So much anxiety, so much pain, so much grief are in the air these days. I truly pray with the blessing of all the enlightened beings, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the compassionate living beings. May we be able to pacify all the pains, griefs, and anxiety from this COVID-19 very soon. And we get to learn the actual lesson that we really are supposed to learn from this experience. So everyone, I pledge you to stay safe, take good care of yourself, and take good care of people around you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, IBC, for this Global Prayer Week, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. The coronavirus is the biggest challenge to humanity, and it has all locked us up in our homes and stilled all activities. Some say it's the birth of a new world, and birth is painful. But we have caused a lot of pain to this earth. And we forgot that we are all interdependent on the ecosystem. I wrote a book on Nagarjuna, and I feel very blessed that His Holiness the Dalai Lama gave the foreword to it. His Holiness pointed out that the Indian philosophy of non-violence, which has been there from ancient times, and pluralism and tolerance, is of great value to the world today. Nagarjuna highlighted the importance of interdependence in existence. The Buddha who was an Indian prince, would have been enculturated in the Sanatan Dharma, which teaches us the reverence for all living and non-living beings. But we have lost our reverence for this earth. As global envoy of the IBC, I had the privilege of hosting a lunch for His Holiness when he was in London on his 80th birthday tour. He gave a teaching on the ethics of business, which was quite appropriate because the invited guest list included billionaires and millionaires. But he also brought us joy by recounting anecdotes. And for example, he said when he was a little boy and not paying attention to his studies, it created a dilemma for his tutors, because how do you beat the Dalai Lama even if he's 6 or 8 years old? So they created a holy whip with yellow silk threads. And he laughed when he recounted this, saying, "It was a holy whip, but I felt holy pain." Nagarjuna wrote many things, but he also wrote, "You dwell among the causes of death, like a butter lamp standing in a strong breeze." The coronavirus has already killed about 300,000 people in the world in a short time. Buddhist environmental ethics belong not just inside the covers of sacred texts or inside the robes of monks and monasteries, but they are to be practiced in our daily life, out on the street, and so that we live mindfully and with respect for all. Human actions, good, bad, moral, immoral, impact the environment, and the environment impacts us. My charity, Lily Against Human Trafficking, works for abused and exploited women and girls. We run sheltered homes and free schools for the poorest, because education is the key to get out of poverty. And some of these children have gone on to high-paid jobs in the IT sector. We want to free them from slavery, because unless they are free, we are not free. We are all part of the same energy. And I've written a book on the theme of my charity, which is Mother and Child, and the title is Dear Mama. It is a collection of letters from eminent personalities to their own mothers, and some of them are very intimate letters. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has again been very kind to me in giving a letter for the book. And he writes, "My mother was the first teacher of compassion. Those who receive affection from their mothers as children have much greater inner peace in their adult lives." And he also added, "While men and women are fundamentally equal, I feel women have an important role to play in making the 21st century a period of peace." And the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Bhai Modi, says that he hopes this book will inspire readers to commit themselves to furthering the cause of women's empowerment. And Sir Cliff Richard, that pop icon, has written a very moving letter to his mother, in which he also says, "You who I can never forget and I will always love," because we do love our mothers, even if they're no longer with us. In the 21st century, we live in knowledge economies, and here men and women are equal. When the internet develops knowledge and delivers it to our desks, then it's a different world and gender is irrelevant. And so the real karmic task of the 21st century is to reconcile matter and spirit. And we have to heal the earth. We have waged wars on our bosom. We have colored our sands and seas red with the blood of millions. We have choked the oceans with plastic. And someone said that now maybe the law of karma is staring us in the face, because karma never forgets an address. This came to me.
Dear brothers and sisters in the Dharma, dear friends, fellow earthlings, it's a great pleasure to be with you here today and an honor during prayer week. And I would like to talk to you about something today that is very close to my heart. We come together here during prayer week at a time because the world is facing 3 unprecedented global crises. The first is the one that is affected most of our lives quite severely. It's the coronavirus pandemic, which has infected nearly 4.5 million people around the world and killed close to 300,000. The second is species loss. More than 1 million species are at risk of extinction. We are losing species faster today than we have ever throughout human history. Globally, for example, the number of trees has been reduced to about 46% since the start of human civilization. Do no harm and take only what is freely given. The third crisis is climate change. The World Bank estimates that climate change could force more than 100 million people into extreme poverty by 2030. The World Health Organization expects climate change to cause an estimated 250,000 additional annual human deaths between 2030 and 2050. This figure does not take account of factors such as reduced farming output as a result of higher temperatures, or illnesses and death tied to disruption in health services caused by extreme weather and climate events. Reduced food production alone is predicted to lead to a net increase of 529,000 adult deaths by 2050. The impact on wild and domestic animals too will be immense. So while climate change moves at a slower pace, it grows like a tree. The pandemic that we are all suffering from at the moment is moving like a racehorse. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why we are taking it so much more seriously and why we have responded so much more readily. So there we have it, climate change, species loss, and the coronavirus pandemic. All these 3 crises are crises of our own making. Each has arisen because of our unwillingness to respect and honor the interdependence between nature and ourselves. It is like we are at war with nature, but there has never been, nor can there ever be, a winner in this war. Least of all us. The vast majority, that's exactly 3 out of every 4 of new infectious diseases in people come from animals, from wildlife and from livestock, which we keep in ever larger numbers, mostly in terrible conditions, to feed ourselves in ever larger numbers. The coronavirus is no exception. It is believed to have made the jump to people from bats or another wildlife host associated with markets in China. We may be tempted to think of ourselves as the victims of nature in this pandemic, but if we look honestly at the facts, the reverse is true. The animals are not the problem here. They have been around longer than us, and they have carried viruses for millennia. There has been no change there. But what has changed is our numbers and the way we interact with nature and with animals. Since I was born, the human population of this world has more than doubled. We have claimed more and more space and more of nature for ourselves, encroaching into wild areas, destroying them and their inhabitants, or we're forcing them to try and survive in our world. We also treat them like commodities, catch, imprison, mutilate and kill them, torment them to feed, clothe or entertain us without giving it a second thought. The suffering we have caused is immeasurable. These interactions have caused increasing contact with people, between animals and people, and contact is exactly what viruses need to jump from animals to us. COVID-19 is not the first virus that has jumped from animals to humans. As far back as the 14th century, the Black Death, which killed between 75 and 200 million people, the flu pandemic between 1889 and 1890 killed about 1 million people. The Spanish flu pandemic, 1918, with a death toll of 20 to 50 million people. That was is believed to be transmitted from poultry and pigs to human beings. Asian flu, so-called, 1957, with a death toll of 2 million, is believed to come from wild ducks or poultry to humans. The big flu pandemic of 1968, a death toll of 1 million, comes to us from poultry, pigs. HIV, death toll to date of about 36 million people, came from Africa through primates, apes, a chimpanzee. SARS epidemic, 2002-2004, nearly just over 8,000 infected and 774 deaths. Swine flu, a death toll of up to 575,000 people, came to us from pigs, believed from Mexico. And then, so we see that this is not an exception, but the frequency with which these jumps have happened have increased over in recent decades. And this novel coronavirus epidemic will not be our last. Coronaviruses in particular are very common amongst wild animals and bird populations around the world. So because of us, species that have evolved separately are now mixing. We keep and kill animals without compassion, crippling their immune system in captivity, and in doing so making them more susceptible to diseases and infections because of the stress and the fear and the pain they undergo while they are in our hands. Stressed animals and immunocompromised animals are unable to fend off diseases as well as healthy animals. And because of the way we treat them, animals in our care are often not healthy, and that goes from food to medicine to fur to milk, any intensive farming and any keeping. Wild animals belong in the wild. We then move them and their body parts around the globe on boats, cars, trains, and planes, and in doing so we give the virus a free ride. As Buddhists, we need to ask ourselves, if we want a future without pandemics, what would the Buddha do? What would he advise us to do to create a world without pandemics in which we live in harmony with other beings. The first two precepts give us some idea of how we can modify our behavior to create a better world. I started this discourse by stating that next to climate change and species loss, the COVID-19 pandemic are crises of our own making. They are the result of dependent arising, the result of our actions. That's the bad news, but there is also immense hope in that, because it shows us that we hold the key to making things better. Only 4 months ago, who would have thought that we would be able to introduce the changes to our lives that have become our new normal now under the great lockdown? Perhaps we need some urgent social distancing from animals, except for those that are in need of our help and support. I would like to conclude by thanking our most venerable Dharma masters, who have long since urged us to live with compassion and wisdom towards all sentient beings, cultivating boundless love for them and extend the love of a mother for her only child towards them. As we stand at this critical crossroads, we depend on their guidance more than ever before. May all beings be happy and free from suffering. Thank you. Be safe, be kind, go well.
Jingye, sangya shakye kunai shubha teta chukye ina malya patam che jawa takye kongwa no teta mapa nise yatsuna yangye yala yetse tabun ye jawa kunye yone raptu chinde vara shaba tam che takye mento tamba jawa tamba tansinya namda jiba tushu mame chodan deba tamba ye jawa teta ni chopara ye naza tamba namda tichu chima pima rira nyamba nakoba kepara pape chukun ye jawa teta lani chupa ye chupa kanamala me yachiwa teta yewa tamche alayam wasambo chala tabe topta ye jawa guna chapsa chupara ye tocha cheta dimo wanye ne luta mata tijine ye kiya tiba da ye kipa chiche pa teta tamche dagi soso sha chuche jawa gunda sangye shatangye namta lopta milo tandowa kunye sanama kangla yan teta kunye jise tangye ramkana chuche jite drama na chanche rimba sangye machangye kumbo teta dagi tamcha la kulo lana nepa korwa kunyama tatu tamche teta la dowa kunla pinche deve kalpa jingye dunye shubha yan dagi dhamma gapja solwa ye chakse wadai cheche shapa dan jesu ira kuje solwa ye yawa chuse dagi jisa pa tamcha zobe chanche chirmo
gelchi nangpe thunso ki kacha phelwa nangjin niman duni ring mulam covid na jumche thipia mulam sogani nok songpa sang tiring ngaja Ladakh yong shingon pa sodi chogngyang tene covid na jije pia dharma center na gidun samman zomte mulam jaspa sogani nok tene dambuling gangpe na dang tiria covid churgu pe na diam chungte ma kangal chenmo thoi nokte kangal jiche thi pia tangbora nat mijung chi pia tene ispa nat pa sangman gyalche thi pia sumpa tene nat yong se tonghan sangma simi ja dewa thopje soge pia mikte tene ngaje nangpa ngaje dharma center na malam sokte no so malam jasin mo sokte no tena nangjin yang Ladakh seang gonpa mangpu jatang jathale gonpa yotenok te gonpa sangmena gidun sangma yukte tena malam kube de chugu pe na jiji pia malam jaspa sogane nok te songpa sang ta te ting ngaja gonpa sodi chogne tene dambuling gangpe manpa manyo manena mankena la chon sangma tukje cherang kati chen jun che na kong rang sho mata tene nat pe ja to ju che pe ja te tene nga dang tiran nat kun jomen jik dang nat kun nyu cha che tap khes po eno te song pa sang kong na kutin che jun tene yang tene nga tang mimang lan jas la tene man ba kun ka bil khan nang jin ta ta re ka bil khan nang jin kha khare tang che lakpa tu che mangpo min zom che tene terang nyam pu chik tang chik gyang ring po juk che sa laglen yang da yang dun za zo ju yun terang nyam po tene dang tine tene dam puling gang pe na tene ra na juk che se jung sarkar gu ne ka chap pel tera na juk so na juk ra nyam po tene na juk te tene sam nyan na tene sun ma suna chocho ga gyo den gom nyam len da che yoga za che tene shos mane tene covid na ji che phe chala tene sowa malam tap na tene ngata covid na covid churgu pe na tu dambuling ne ji re me kan che che panche se no te samal le jule
Namo Buddha, Namo Dharma, Namo Sangha, and Jule to all of you. Most eminent Rinpoches, supreme heads of Buddhist Sanghas from around the world, abbot of different monasteries, eminent personalities, and dear brothers and sisters. At the outset, I, on behalf of Ladakh Buddhist Association and the people of Ladakh, in the Himalayas, express our heartfelt thanks and gratitude and sincere appreciation to the International Buddhist Confederation for celebrating the Buddha Purnima Vesak 2020 and observing the week as prayer week for eradicating the world from infection of pandemic COVID-19. It is indeed a noble initiative by the International Buddhist Confederation for connecting Buddhists all around the world on a single platform and offering our prayers, dedicating for safety of all health workers, including doctors, nurses, paramedic staffs, police personnel, the first responders and volunteers at the front line leading fight against COVID-19. The Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has said in his inaugural speech on the opening ceremony of Buddha Purnima Vesak 2020, and I quote, "When we have love and affection for each other, these feelings make us strong enough to tackle any hardship in life." Before I conclude, I once again express my sincere thanks and gratitude to the organizers and the International Buddhist Confederation IBC for giving me this great opportunity to connect myself on behalf of Ladakh with all the Buddhists around the world in solidarity with the fight against the pandemic COVID-19. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you very much. Namo Buddhaya.
We are monks of Yang Monastery going to support to IBC has taken initiative Karuna for Corona. So we pay homage to the Parnashavari to fight against COVID-19, and we would like to recite a mantra of Parnashavari. So this reciting mantra is our support to this pandemic will finish soon. Thank you.
I support IBC initiative #Karuna for Corona, #Global Prayer Week to fight against COVID-19. I would like to recite medicine Buddha mantra to benefit all sentient beings. Tukje kula nyambe chamdende tsendam tobe nyendro dongal sel duksum nezer sanje mingela bendure yo la chaksalo tiata ombeka ze mahabeka ze raja samunga de so ha tiata ombeka ze mahabeka ze raja samunga de so tiata ombeka ze mahabeka ze raja samunga de so tiata ombeka ze mahabeka ze raja samunga de so tiata ombeka ze mahabeka ze raja samunga de so ha yawa di nyudo da dershek mela dugirin dowa chi jamalo ba de sala go bara sho sanjene ba chinye ba nyudo nelle tarjurji dewe nene malo tado jongwa me bara sho
My name is Bhikkhu Nandisena. I'm the abbot of the Dhammavihara Monastery, Mexico. Greetings from Mexico. This is a message for the World Buddhist Prayer Meet to be held on May 16, 2020, at the end of the Global Prayer Week, Karuna for Corona initiative by the International Buddhist Confederation, India. In these unprecedented times for humanity, the Buddha's teachings are more relevant than ever. This global pandemic has made quite clear, quite evident to the world the first noble truth, the noble truth of suffering discovered by the Buddha 2,600 years ago. Fortunately, the Buddha also discovered that there is an origin, there is a cessation, and there is a practice that leads to the end of suffering. Nowadays, in the context of this coronavirus pandemic, what is most important is the practice of the Buddha's teachings, in particular, the practice of compassion and wisdom. Wisdom and compassion. Compassion needs wisdom to be effective, and wisdom needs compassion to help eradicate suffering. If wisdom was what made possible the enlightenment of the Buddha, and if compassion was what moved the Buddha to help humanity to overcome suffering, we do not need to look any further for guidance regarding what to do in these difficult times. In these coronavirus pandemic times, wisdom means to follow the advice of the scientific community, to follow the advice of the public health authorities at the local, national, and international levels. And compassion means helping those who are suffering, helping those who are in dire need. We need to open our hearts to understand, to comprehend suffering, and give a helping hand in whatever way possible and available to us, so we can help others. There is so much suffering around us, it is not difficult to find someone who needs help. Let us do that and help remove some suffering from the world. In these times, also, the practice of mindfulness is important to prevent and remove the arising of unwholesome mental states like fear, worry, anxiety, and so on. Furthermore, let us practice right speech, protecting truthfulness at all times. In these times of social distancing, in these times of sense pleasure deprivation, let us remember and practice the Buddha's words that contentment is the greatest gain. Let us practice these teachings diligently and see by ourselves that these teachings can alleviate and remove suffering, that these teachings of the Buddha are effective. Finally, I would like to do a prayer in Pali, the language that according to the Theravada tradition was used by the Buddha to convey to the world his discovery of the Four Noble Truths and other things too. Dukkha patacha ni dukkha, bhaya patacha ni bhaya, sokha patacha ni sokha, hontu savepi panino. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and all beings find relief. Thank you for listening.
立正暗黒論汝早く信仰の寸心を改めて 速やかに実情の一善に帰せよ。しかればすなわち、三愛は皆仏国なり、仏国それ衰えんや。実法はことごとく法度なり、法度なんぞ破れんや。国に水美なく、土に生えなくんば、身はこれ安全にして、心はこれ善情ならん。この言葉、このこと、信ずべし、あがむべし。ナムミョレンゲキョナムミョレンゲキョナム
First of all, on the behalf of Buddhist Community Center UK, we would like to extend our warmest greetings to everyone, whoever watching us today. And the resident teacher of Buddhist Community Center UK, Lama Venerable, and I myself, Kembali Masage, we will deliver a short prayer for the people who are still suffering, and large number of people who have lost their precious life because of this coronavirus pandemic. Now let us express our solidarity and support for all the frontline workers, in particular medical professional caring for the sick, and the working so hard to save the life, and the great sacrifices everyone has made to fight with this coronavirus. Finally, we are would like to ask you to pray with us together, so that this suffering will quickly pass, and encouragement and support for all. Thank you so much. Om Nangzi Namda Rashi Lamdra Beta Shi Chojo Jena Juba Ye Sanje Chedang Gende Pabi Sokun La Chanza Daja Trashi Injabo Zanden Tondro Gon Jambi Jamba Geta Padamba Kula Gomba Jachira Taba Jedumbo Draba Zara Badani Samche Tamche La Gonda Bi Isim Zeba Zaram Traba De Sensam De Beta Shi Pabe Vadevar Sheba Jela Chaza Lo Jamba Jana Palden Do Jen Chere Zio Jembe Bosa Yin Yimbo Tiba Nambra Zenam Nyimbo Pacho Kondo San Wo Padar Che Pegra Lushin Dandar Dawaradi Sanle Nam Dashi Ba Ye Jo Chanjo Semba Jela Chaza Lo Rinjen Tujo Dashi Sagi Nyan Tuja Bosa Yewa Kamala Nyanda Tanda Ponzo Pabi Wo Mina Jese Wanjo Kolo De Rinjen Dacho Gigi Chaza Chodi Jawa Chechi Gigi Magi Zongombo Tembe Babi Dashi Lamo Jela Chaza Lo Sambo Chembo Tejo Seme Bo Midon Dendan Jabo Yokos Pagye Bodan Luwa Mime Zanam De Sede La Se Kolo Da Trisho Don 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 Do Ji Jimbi Wara Trichu Din Jansen Sasun Nesun Gele Dashi Angela Chazalo Daja Dendra Java Zombala Kedanya Vazawa Kushin Pape something Yishin Trajin Tele Ponzon Zomba Sho Tanke Tuji Shaki Reson Tanshin Matop Dege Ponjon Bose Zombo Tawe Shaki Java Jela Chanzon Lord the other Money Mamani is or the Domini 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 Mamani is the other Mamani is so high Tombe Kole Yeshe was a Nazo Nawa Chamber Tazo Sanjin Tamji Bottom Jis on Jin Taba Chamber Lamji and then Sujin Doji Shirmindo Bizom Nom Bai Joy Desha Seja Kunja Toki Seba Mala Yenze Yishe Do Lame Yeshe Jindra Jindra Denda Konra Dazo Jurubara Sho Hongo Jeyo Je Nobjan Zobe Marke Saratombola Yansen Choke Mudo Bema June Jesu Drakodon Kandro Mombe Gorgi Jesu Da Drogi Sinje Loje Jesu Guru Bema Sede Ho Ema Von Sove Kesra Beme Tombola Kuma Yeshe Lanje Travelo Raja Jimbo Bema Yayum Kandri Jumondela Soande Samba Nyudo Druva Sinjelo Dengen Jebe Nemin to Jebe Nedon Bache Mando Moge So Kya Trembe Mala Seji Shashi Nene Guru Yenje Samba Nyudo Druva Sinjelo De Don Sodum Don La Kompa Don Teve Kitro Tive Masa Shera Punzon Sobeno Don Bosum Jen Kunji Gula Rancho Nenji Dende Gide Lo Yenje Samba Nyudo Druva Sinjelo Alane Dan Donga Minde Gojumbe Dan Dan Jeve Chebo Dan Mejo Jinsen Nam Dan Juba Jisaya Panda Togene Kakun Jadon Resa Shindam Bajive Tuje Sanji Guru Urjinje Samba Nyudo Druva Sinjelo Ujin Rimbor Chela Sovande Gajem Bachime Janshin Tunje Samba Chodon Tomem Udro Sado So Girin Tonga Jeju Shewa Dan Mentino Bekinan Tawa Tumba Dojim Pazan So Trashi Dijan Dende Dele Sho Parden Lame Shabi Demba Dan Kanya Yonla Dejin Jungwa Dan Daje Malu Sosa Del Yurdo Songe Sala Gopa Sho Tembe Ponjo Lame Shabi Tenzin Jivu Satan Yonla Tembe Sindanga Tonta Temba Yorene Petra Sho
Davge doje shage rezo don jange medo degi bonjomba serge lomba tabu jebe shage gabe jabla gujo se. My name is Kempo Rangdol. I'm a president of Dun Buddhist committee, and we are very happy to hear that International Buddhist Confederation (IBC) arranged such a very important global the week-long the prayers. On this occasion, I also would like to share the few words, and also I would like to share my prayers for all mother sentient beings. As we know that because of COVID-19, the pandemics, the thousands of people suffering by physically, emotionally, mentally, and as well as financially. To solve this kind of the problems, as Shantideva, one of the great Indian, the Buddhist, the master, so he said in the text called The Way of Bodhisattva Life, he said that if the problem can be solved, what reason is there to be upset? If there is no possible solution, so what there is being said, so that means if the problem cannot solve, so there's no point keep worrying and worrying. So therefore on this the occasion, we have to remember the noble teachings of our Lord Buddha, that he clearly taught about the impermanent. So instead of keep worrying, so this is the time that we have to extend the prayer and good wishes to recover all these the problems that what are happening in the world. So on behalf of Dun Buddhist Committee here, I would like to send the prayers to the world to free from all those different kind of suffering, and the wishing prayer is so important. So if we manage to make the wishing prayer, so things also can be fulfilled as per our wishes. So therefore, I also would like to request all of you to make prayers, and auspicious prayer and wishing prayer instead of keep worrying. So now I would like to begin chanting short prayer for all mother sentient beings. Jiden dejin lole dan dona pejin chebe dan dele tamje dubai ila de ba kondo jo loya so jin don ya don wa dan tsering name degi ponzom zo teba chola nye wala jinek daji de gang den dele jo sonam dobjen di do jinda kordan janam la tsede sambe dondoji parje jina daji ba samba chojen do bara jo tembe ba yo lame je ba jo tenzen ke bo saden yongla ke tembe jinda nga dang jo wa ye temba yo ring ne be daji jo zemje ne ba jinye ba nyudo ne la tagyo dowe nane malo ba da do jongwa me bara jo chanjo semjo rimbo je mage banam ke gyreji ke ba nyamba me ba yang kona kondo pelwara jo
Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. On behalf of His Holiness Tigung Jamgun Chezan Rinpoche's monasteries in Dehradun, we would like to extend our gratitude and supporting to IBC for your great initiative, Karuna for Corona. And here I would like to pray for all sentient beings, especially suffering from coronavirus. Doje gonla nyombe jomde chanzam thoba ngandro dunga se tosum nesela sange mange bendra yaye ola cha sa lo daya da benga zembe ma benga zembe ganja raja samonga de so daya da benga zembe gazema benga zembe ganja raja samonga de so Ayada om bega ma bega ranza samonga de so ha gewa de nyodo da sangye manye la zo do gira je do wa je ga ma lo ba de sa la ho gira je semje ne ba ji ne ba nyodo ne re da Dewe nene malo ba da do jungwa me ba jo jang jo sem jo rimbo che ma ge ba nam ge ge wa nyam ba me ba yang go ne go do be wo sho
Amen.
Sadhu, sadhu. Fortunate son and daughters, I bless the whole world with metta by the virtue and the powers of the Buddha, by the truth of the Dhamma, by the glory of the Mahasangha. May all corona victims recover fast. May all doctors and nurses who are working so tirelessly on the front line be safe and protected by Devas. May the Noble Triple Gem bless the whole world and soon regain the economical prosperity and success. May all beings be free from suffering, diseases, greed, and fear. May they well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Hello everybody and greetings. I hope everyone is well and happy, and even if you're not feeling too good, may you be blessed with a quick recovery and experience good health, well-being and a peaceful mind. Buddhist teachings recognize an interconnection between everything. This is the essence of the Avatamsaka Sutra. The theme of ultimate interdependence and interpenetration is best reflected in the jewel net of Indra, a visual image of a net strewn through space with sparkling, multifaceted jewels hanging from each of its countless interstices. Because of the interreflection among jewels, the appearance of each jewel depends on the appearance of other jewels, just as all things in the world reflect the influence of other things. As human beings, we depend on each other for our survival, and when we have a genuine sense of responsibility towards others, we understand the concept of interconnectivity. The COVID-19 pandemic therefore gives us a moment to see this truth more clearly. Even with mundane actions such as taking care of our personal hygiene when we wash our hands or put on a mask when we leave home, we are in fact helping to protect others in as much as we protect ourselves. The Buddha told a story in the Siddhaka Sutta in the Pali Canon, how the well-being of others starts with ourselves. If we are mindful and diligent in taking care to avoid being infected by the virus, we are also helping to prevent the spread of the infection to the community. This pandemic that we experience serves as a profound opportunity to recognize and honor our interdependence. As we have a deep connection to all beings, now is the perfect time to practice love and compassion for them. It's time to switch from me to we. In the Brahma Vihara Sutta, the Buddha advises to practice the 4 sublime states: loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Loving kindness is boundless love, whereby we wish everyone happiness, wellness, and peace. That would, of course, include ourselves. When we radiate such thoughts with sincerity, it becomes a powerful tool in our minds. And because we infuse such noble qualities in our mind, we too become calm and peaceful. Compassion is our second sublime state. It is the quivering of the heart in response to suffering. Just like loving kindness, we practice compassion not just for ourselves, but for others. Responding to compassion with our own suffering gives rise to compassion for others. As Venerable Pema Chodron, the American Tibetan Buddhist nuns, has to say, sorrow has the same exact taste for all of us. The third sublime state is called sympathetic joy. Finding moments of joy each day during the pandemic will help us to endure peacefully. Surely you can find some personal happiness, such as not having to commute, spending more time with the family, your ability to read your favorite book, and doing something at home which you were not able to do previously. The third sublime state is also about rejoicing in the kindness of others. We rejoice when we hear about ordinary folks sharing their food with the elderly neighbors, about young and ordinary folks donating masks and money to buy protective equipment to the hospitals, and of frontline nurses and doctors risking their lives to help COVID-19 patients. Equanimity is the 4th sublime state. It refers to a mind that is calm and steady in the face of our life's ups and downs. It means opening our hearts and minds not just to pleasant experiences, but also unpleasant experiences. The late Lama Yeshe beautifully expresses the essence of equanimity when he said, if you expect your life to be up and down, your mind will be much more peaceful. Let us therefore start our day with this thoughtful prayer of the four sublime states, so that our thoughts will be translated into positive words and positive actions when we meet with others. Let us make this prayer. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from joy and happiness. May all sentient beings always be in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. With this short prayer, I hope you will remain safe, healthy, and peaceful. May the blessings of the three jewels be with you always.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. Karami amatta kusalena yantang santang padang abhisamecha sako ujo cha sujo cha suvacho cha samudo anatimani santo sago cha suvaro cha yappakicho sasallau kabutti santendriyo cha nipako cha appagabbo kulesu ananugiddo Nacha kuddang samachare kinchiyena vinyo pareyupavadeyo Sukino vake minontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta Yeke chipana bhutatita savatha varava navase sadiga vayamantava Majjima rassakanu katula Dittava yeva dittaye cha dure vasanti avidure bhutava Sambhave siva sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Naparo parang niko beta nati mayyeta katta chinang kinchi vyarosana Patiga sanyanaya mayyasa dukkhamicceya Mata yatani yang puttang ayusa eka puttam anurakke evampi Sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaya parimanang Mettancha sabba lokasming manasang bhavaya parimanang uddang Adocha tiriyancha sangbadang averang asapattang tittang charang nisinnova Sayanova yavatassa vigatamedo etang sading aditteya Brahma metang viharang idamahu Dittinchanupagamma silava dassanena sampanno kamesu vinayagedang naijat Gabba seyyang punaratiti etena satchavajjena Hotu te jaya mangalang etena satchavajjena Sabba dukkha vinassato etena satchavajjena Hotu te jaya mangalang Sabbiti abhivajjantu sabba roga vinassato Mate bhavadantarayo sukhidigayuko bhavam Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkanto sabba devata Sabba dhammanubhavena sada soti bhavantu te Avivadana silasa niccang buddha pacayano chattaro dhamma vaddante ayu vannang sukang balang Ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha to nibbana sampatti minate samejatuti. Friends, this is the week of Vesak, which the International Buddhist Confederation is celebrating as the Global Prayer Week. The Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, in his address has also requested for praying so that we can come out of this corona pandemic. The prayer has the power to heal, and therefore, world over, all the venerable monks and nuns, laymen and the laywomen have all joined together in this virtual program
to pray together. Pope Francis has also asked all his faithfuls and the people of the world to join us in prayer and fasting today. And therefore, it's an occasion that this month is being celebrated as Ramadan. Most of the Muslim friends are on fasting, and I'm sure that this week, with this prayer and fasting, will have immense potential to heal us. This lockdown period of 50 days has given mankind to understand himself better through the gift of silence. It has given us the opportunity to go inwards and see ourselves, how we can remain mindful, how we can remain calm, how we can remain patient. Therefore, the gift of silence is very important, because only in the silence will you hear your heart. Only in the silence will you see that your desires are endless. Only in the silence will you see that fear is not your friend. Only in the silence will you see that love is always the solution. Only in the silence will you see that what we call you is only an endless process of change. Only in the silence will you see that words are always inadequate, and your presence and behavior is what the world needs. Only in the silence will you see the interconnected connection between all beings, and pain is pain, fear is fear, and suffering is suffering. Only in the silence will you see that your ideas and opinions are only more chatter from the mind. Only in the silence will you see the emptiness of life, and what we make important is only important because we make it so. Only in the silence will you see the truth that beyond the fears and fantasies of mind is that you are already free, you always were free, and you always will be free. Only in the silence will you meet the truth. May all beings fall silent, if only for a moment. Therefore, friends, I wish, taking this opportunity of Vesak, taking this opportunity of Ramadan, and taking this opportunity of Pope Francis's call for prayer and fasting, that may all beings be happy, may all beings be well, may all beings be peaceful, may no harm come to any of us. May all of us be happy, calm, quiet, and be able to share our pains and joys together. Thank you.
Namo Buddhaya. I'm Tan, President of Young Buddhist Association of Malaysia. On behalf of Malaysia Buddhist Youth, we would like to congratulate the Global Prayer Week initiated by IBC. Done very well, done a good job. Managed to reach over 100,000 people across the world. As you know, the Global Prayer Week was dedicated to pray for the victims of COVID-19 global pandemic, for their family, for the medical professional, and for all frontline workers serving to protect and lead the humanity efforts. Sabe Sata Sukhi Hontu.
Namaste and Prasidale to all brothers and sisters. My name is Kaji Sherpa, and I am the founder of the Buddhist Community Center UK and also Assistant Treasurer of IBC. On behalf of the members of the Buddhist Community Center UK, I would like to extend our warmest wishes and prayers of good health to you and your family. I also would like to thank IBC members in India for their great effort in bringing us together through the virtual global prayers this week. Although we are physically distant, the IBC has helped us remember that we are not alone. We are part of a strong global family. Together, we will help each other to overcome this present challenging situation. May I also take this opportunity to thank all healthcare workers and our society's many hidden champions who continue to work tirelessly for us all. You are truly embodiment of compassion, and we are sincerely thankful for your effort. Thank you, and stay safe. Take care.
विश्व वंदनीय विश्व शांति दूत महामानव तथागत सम्यक संबुद्ध को त्रिवार अभिवादन। मैं भिक्खु बोधि रत्न थेरो धम्मयान एजुकेशनल एंड चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट के माध्यम से इंटरनेशनल बुद्धिस्ट कॉन्फेडरेशन को वर्चुअल बुद्ध पूर्णिमा मनाने के लिए साधुवाद मंगल कामना करता हूँ। आज पूरे विश्व में कोविड-19 वैश्विक महामारी फैल चुकी है। सभी देश इस महामारी से लड़ने में लगे हैं। इस वैश्विक महामारी से मुक्ति के लिए आईबीसी ने करुणा फॉर कोरोना इनिशिएटिव के तहत पूरे विश्व में इस महामारी से मुक्ति के लिए ग्लोबल बुद्धिस्ट प्रेयर का आयोजन किया है। भगवान बुद्ध के परित्राण एवं मंगल मैत्री से सभी को इस महामारी से मुक्ति मिले, विश्व के सभी लोग स्वस्थ बने। इस महामारी में जिनका जीवन पीड़ित हुआ है, जिस परिवार ने अपने प्रियजनों को खोया है, उनके प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करते हैं। सभी मेडिकल क्षेत्र में सेवा देने वाले डॉक्टर्स, नर्सेस, स्टाफ के प्रति मंगल कामना कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करते हैं। सभी फ्रंटलाइन में काम करने वाले इस महामारी से बचाने के लिए सहायता करने वालों के प्रति मंगल कामना। इस महामारी से मुक्ति के लिए, विश्व के कल्याण के लिए इस ग्लोबल प्रार्थना सप्ताह में विश्व के सभी को सुख, शांति, आयु, आरोग्य मिले, यही प्रार्थना करता हूँ। भवतु सब्ब मंगलं, सभी का मंगल हो।
Hello, dear brothers and sisters. Greetings and Tashi Dilek from the monks of Jebun Rosaling Pidu Kamsan Education Society. On 7th May 2020, IBC had organized the virtual Vesak Buddha Purnima celebration when millions of Buddhists from across the world could join together for the most sacred Vesak day. Many Armenian masters from around the world, including Shri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, shared their words of wisdom through video addresses. Today, we have gathered here to offer our prayers following the advice of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, for the well-being of people around the world. The Global Prayer Week launched by IBC is giving us an opportunity and a privilege to pray for the victims of the corona pandemic. We pray for the medical professionals and all those corona warriors at the front line who are putting their lives on risk in saving others. At this difficult time, we must pray for the well-being of poor, needy, and to end the corona pandemic from this beautiful earth. May all sentient beings be happy. This is social distancing, and now let us come together and pray for all the corona warriors. Finally, I want to say that stay home, stay safe, practice social distancing. Thank you very much.
Namo Buddhaya Sanju Sunjo Rinpoche Majipa Namche Kirchitiwa Nyambamir Kone Kondo Kewara Sho. I would like to thank all the frontline warriors like doctor, nurse, police, sanitation workers, and all those who are working hard to keep us safe. We all should fight Corona with Karuna by staying home and by wearing masks. Do not feel depressed or lonely while in isolation, as you are saving lives of others and yourself. In Vinaya Pitaka, Buddha has said, "He who serves sick serves me." Che dinde sungduwa, ta dinde yinduza tanda menga nala chali nanye, da nasi ta nangba sangma gongma deshi karishi wurza che namalya kande gejo naye ta dinde teze yo marwa ti medi zane ji kanso ta yange ti che tu gongye mindu sambuta karsena che namli chali ti nangba yina sanje gongshi ti takta drup tu gudwa ti indi zane lo dewa seje ni chali nana tigu tu shwe yinba o ta ti shwe yin. So let us all come together and do our best by helping each other in this difficult time. It is time to reflect on Buddha's teaching of impermanence and that this disease will also pass away in time. Simje neba chini wa nyu de ne le ta ji dore ne mali ba ta do jong ne bara so. I thank you IPC for this initiative. May all be happy and healthy.
Brothers and sisters in Dhamma, World Buddhist Prayers Meet, organized by the IBC. Third program during the Vesak period. You have very successfully organized Vesak prayers, blessing, and messages, beautiful messages from all over the world, from the Buddhist leaders. Many people are able to get benefit from there. This is the wonderful contribution coming from the Buddha's land. It's a great, bring a lot of differences, the joy to each and every one of us. That particular commemorating for the birth, enlightenment and passing away, Vesak day itself be able to connect into the Buddha's land, which is previous year we never ever get able to get the chance. Vesak practically every centers, every Buddhist been involving for many things, but this particular Vesak, be able to be quietly practicing our posata, practicing our self-development in monastery, houses, other Buddhist centers. Self-practices bring a lot of differences. IBC done the wonderful contribution to reach out to the many people's heart on the Buddha's land. Vesak Day, even though through social media, through Facebook, be able to see both Gaya, Kusinagar, Sarana, and Lumbini. These are wonderful places we are able to connect in that such an important day. Being a lot of difference, being our that such important day to be with that particular places bring a lot of memories and a lot of things for our self-development, cultivation, purification, oneself mind. Appreciated. Thank you very much for the IBC organizing such a meaningful thing, such a Vesak Day. And also I had to a kind reminder for the Buddhist community, with this economic downturn, take a courage, take a very strong inner spiritual development to not to go down according to the economic downturn, according to the share market down. You don't be down yourself. Be encouraged, be mindful, be courage. Lead this difficult period with mindfulness. Thank you very much. Highly appreciated. Thanks for the IBC organizing such a wonderful, meaningful event for this particular period. Thank you.
Namo Buddhaya, Amitofo from Taiwan. Respected Mahasangha, dear sisters and brothers in the Dharma. My name is Christy Chang, one of the joint presidents for IBC and also former president of Sakadita International Association of Buddhist Women, although I continue to facilitate the planning of the 17th Sakadita Conference next year, December, in Sarawak, East Malaysia. Well, we don't know what lies ahead of us after this world pandemic, but we continue to move on, planting all positive causes towards everything, including this Dharma reunion in Borneo, with the motivation to benefit our world. Please do consider joining us next year. Here in Taiwan, we have been blessed. No lockdown, no MCO or movement restriction of any sort. Although we have also avoided large crowding and people are staying extra mindful to keep each other safe. Life seems almost normal here in Taiwan, yet impermanence, of course, persists. 2 days ago, just about the same time, I received the request from IBC to say something for the conclusion of this Global Prayer Week. Sadly, I also learned the passing of Venerable Wei Jun, founder and abbess of Nanning Bhikshuni Sangha in central Taiwan, the Sangha that has been requested to help establish the Bhikshuni lineage in the Tibetan tradition. Anicca, a great loss to all of us. But amazingly, yesterday, I heard that Venerable's body remained warm and soft. Such a great inspiration for our continuing Dharma practices. So, to join the global prayer, I thought I would like to dedicate a song which is closely associated with Venerable Wei Jun, because about 7 years ago, for almost a week, every morning, Venerable kept hearing a tune, a melody sung by a deva, a divine being, in her meditation. Venerable tried to remember and managed to decode the melody by matching it with the verses from Dhammapala in Chinese, which says, "My life is in peace. I have no more afflictions, no more sickness, and no more sorrows. My life is now full of joy, needing no food and having no fear of burning fire. as I continue to aspire to benefit all sentient beings. 7 years ago, I was invited to dedicate this song when the stupa in Nanning Monastery opened and the Buddha's holy relics exhibited. Now, I would like to sing part of the song and dedicate it to Venerable Wei Jun, to all those fighting in the frontiers, all those who have suffered and are still suffering. To all of you, my dear teachers and friends in the Dharma. 我生遗憾，不平于彼，众人有彼，我心无彼。我生遗憾，清净无为，以乐为师，如光映天。我生遗憾，但不是迷信过火，安能寒烧？May all beings be free from suffering. 阿弥陀佛。
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami Athana mitang bhikkhave anavagaso Yang parupakamena tathagatang jivita varapiya Anupakamena bhikkhave tathagata parinibayanti Itena sacavajena sautite hotu sabbada Itena sacavajena sabha bhaya dukkha antarayo dunamitang karuna cha vinasantu Itena sacavajena hotu te jaya mangalani. May I take this opportunity to express my gratitude and deep appreciation and thanks to Sri Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Prime Minister of India, for his support and suggestions. I also take this opportunity to express my gratitude and thanks to Sri Prahlad Patil ji, Honorable Union Minister of Tourism and Culture, Government of India, for his valuable message and support. I also take this opportunity to express my gratitude and thanks to Sri Kiren Rijiju-ji, Honorable Union Minister of Minority Affairs, Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, for his valuable message and support. This is also an occasion to express my deep respect and gratitude on behalf of International Buddhist Confederation to all eminent great masters, venerable monks, nuns, and lay upasakas, upasikas, who have contributed immensely to make this virtual Vesak Day celebration and a week-long global prayer program a grand success. This prayer globally for a week had been dedicated to the corona victims and first responders, medical doctors, nurses, and to all those frontline workers to overcome the coronavirus menace and for the safety, security, health, and peace for all living beings. May all beings be happy and peaceful. I also hope in the future also will get the same support from all our eminent and great masters, venerable monks, venerable nuns, and all our lay supporters or lay practitioners, lay upasakas, upasikas, everyone to work together for the welfare, benefit, and happiness of all human beings and all living beings at large in the world. Thank you so much, everyone. Dhanyavad.